And we're back. Hello, everybody. What's up? I'm Jay with Guilty of Crime, and happy Tuesday. How's everybody doing today? Come on, guys. Come on in. Get yourself a drink. Get yourself a snack. Relax. You're going to be here for a while. Welcome in. Come on in. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Get a membership if you can. What's up, everybody? Come on. I know it's Tuesday. Just a boring old Tuesday, but, we have work to do. We need to find out who this person of interest is in the case of Emily Pike. She was found thrown away like garbage in trash bags, dismembered. Investigators zero in on a new lead, guys. We're going to get to all that. But first, I want to tell you, this is, I believe, my third or fourth episode in the Emily Pike case. Now, this is not just for Emily Pike, but I want you guys to think about the missing and indigenous, not just women, but missing and indigenous people, because this case opens up a whole door to start finding others. And it's okay, I haven't got started yet, Carol. You guys, none of you guys know anything. Just pretend like you don't know who I'm talking about, because I haven't got there yet. All right, I'm gonna make you guys be in anticipation. We're only 2 minutes in, and you gotta wait. All right, listen, guys. I'm gonna say hello. Sylvette, how you doing? Good to see you. Royal Bitch X, always a pleasure. Kathy, True Crime Files, how you doing? Tracy, good to see you. Happy Cappy, hi True Crime. Carol, yeah, I got you guys. I'm gonna tell you the whole story since it's been a while. It's been a while, but there's new information that has come in, and this case has yet to be solved. And of course, it has to do with the missing and indigenous women, children, men, etc. Patricia, I sent you the link for the party invites. Woo! Guys, CrimeCon 2026, Las Vegas. We're having a party, and everybody's invited, all right? I'll get to that. Thank you. What's up, Kimberly? How you doing? Hello to everybody. Hope the mods are all in here. My girl Tiff, I hope you're having a better day, better evening. Kel, good to see ya. All right, Mama Pearl's in the house. And everybody else that I don't see, I'm saying hello to. All right, listen, guys. Listen. Today we're covering the case of Emily Pike. Now, we're going to pretend like nobody knows anything about this case, and I'm going to give you a full breakdown of what happened, where, and pretty much why. And then I'm going to lead you into who killed Emily Pike and why did they keep making her go back to that group home. Now, I want you to remember, Emily Pike is now no longer missing. She was missing. They found her body. She is in the, she was in the tribe with all the others. But for some reason, they put her into the Sacred Journey, which is a Mesa group home. Now, listen, guys, Emily Pike was only 14 years old when she disappeared from the Sacred Journey group home in Mesa, Arizona. Guys, I have a lot of questions on that. Now, she disappeared on January 27th, 2025. And when we first started covering this little girl, her remains and her body wasn't found. We still had hope. But come February 14th on Valentine's Day, 2025, 2 large trash bags near Forest Road 355 on state land, guys, near San Carlos Apache Indian Reservation. She was dumped like trash. All right. There was parts of her body, torso. There was a head and a torso. And then she's still missing her hands. She's still missing body parts. All right. So again, I'm going to give you guys a trigger warning. I'm going to break down this entire case, and then we're going to get into everything. You guys come on in, hit that like button. And Mab, I'm very proud of you getting up there, buddy. Have fun. Better you than me. YouTube streets are rough. Everybody likes you until they don't. That being said, thank you all for supporting my channel. So today, justice for Emily Pike. Okay, this is, if you didn't know, the MMIW hashtag is for missing. It's the missing indigenous women, but there's something in between it. I don't know why I just blanked out on the actual of the MMIW and I was just reading it. Yes, very big trigger warning. Now, this is to, and you guys can fill that in, hashtag MMIW. And there's the handprint symbol that you guys always see across like the different Navajo Indians, etc., tribes, right? All right. So take a look. Let me tell you what it stands for so you guys understand what the hell I'm talking about, first of all. So we're talking today about Emily Pike, who went missing originally from her group home at 14 years old on January 27th, 2025. Now, her remains were found on Valentine's Day in 2 large trash bags near a state land near the San Carlos Apache Indian Reservation. Now, listen, guys, she had been living in a group home, and I got to give you guys a trigger warning because last time I did this episode, there was no body camera footage, and this time it's very triggering. We now know where she ended up. She's still missing her body parts, but we now see the body cam of her pleading with law enforcement to not make her go back to that group home. And guys, now that we're looking at the group home, there's a lot of shady happenings going on. And there's another girl that's missing just like her, complete parallel circumstances and more. Now, this place is finally being sued, which we're going to get into. All right. So this is for missing and indigenous women. This is for everyone. You see the handprint that goes across the mouth. All right. The group home was garbage. And we're going to get into the group home because they're now being sued by Emily's father. All right. Now, listen, the reason that what the handprint's for is the silence of the indigenous women who have been victims of violence and lack of media and law enforcement attention to their situations. And it's very true. I mean, I'm the only one covering it right now. I'm so grateful that Nancy Grace covered it because it hit the 1-year mark last month. And this is to bring the issue of the injustice to the forefront. With that red handprint, it's become the symbol for missing and murdered. That's what it is. Missing, murdered, indigenous women movement. Now, it represents oppression and subjugation of the Native women and girls who are up to 10 times more likely to be the capital M and sexually assaulted, which, guys, Emily Pike was allegedly being essayed at her group home. Guys, she was running as fast as she could from that group home. Last time I didn't know why because we hadn't got all the information, but this time I have a good suspicion. Now, the symbol also became a powerful tool in the MMIW movement, raising awareness, calling attention to the crisis affecting Native communities across North America. You got to remember, they govern themselves. So there's no outside anything to reinforce it. And when you've got these people governing themselves and putting the kids from the reservations in group homes, what is happening here? Then they're blatantly saying, I'm being abused, not only sexually, but physically, and they're being sent back. All right. Feds aren't allowed to. Exactly. Thought criminal. And that's where I'm going with this. Now, by placing the red print over the mouth, it stands for missing women whose voices were silenced, as well as the silence, guys, of the media and law enforcement, because, you know, we're all 10 million of us covering the Nancy Guthrie case today, and we need to pay a little bit of attention to Emily Pike and the missing and indigenous people, children, and men, which brought to this case attention. All right, so good to see y'all. Mab says a lot of First Nations crime perpetrated on their people in Canada. Yeah, there's a lot. Hello from Mickeland Daughtry, WPB, Florida. What is up, MP Daughtry? I'm going to call you Mickeland Daughtry, MD. All right. So listen, finally, since Emily Pike's remains mostly have been found, they did something really good for her. They did a memorial bench and a spot like they did exactly for Madeline Soto. So this is her actual memorial that stands there, but there's also her headstone. They did a bench, and I'll show you in a minute. And it's not just for Emily Pike, it's for the people that she's helping and bringing attention to. And I assure you, I've seen a lot more attention. I've seen Emily Pike get way more attention than anybody else. All right. And it's, I mean, it's doing its job. All right. We don't want her to be forgotten. Justice for Emily Pike. Hashtag MMIW or MMIWG. All right. Say her name, Emily Pike. All right. Now let's remove this and let me tell you what happened so we can move into and you guys can see what's going on. Guys, do me a favor. I just got a haircut. If you like my haircut, then hit the like button. That will help. We got 110 people in chat, and this helps us get into the algorithm, all right? If you like the content, you like my haircut. Also, I got to dye my hair, guys. So let's get going. Let's get through this. Hit that like button. I've got my goal up there. Let's get to it. All right. All right. So let's get into it. This is a newer article, right? Because we're in 2026 right now. I'm only going backwards to January 2026. Who killed Emily? Arizona's teen's dismemberment murder still unsolved 1 year later. Okay. Now it's been a year and a month. So they've got this big tribute to Emily Pike. And this is what you need to know. I'll catch you up real quick. Emily Pike was 14 years old when she disappeared from her Mesa, Arizona group home on January 27, 2025. Now, that's a Sacred Heart group home. I don't know why they're minimizing saying the name. Maybe because they're getting sued. Now, her remains were discovered, like I said, on Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2025. They found 2 large trash bags near Forest Road 355 on state land near the Carlos Apache Indian Reservation. Now, her killing has yet to be solved, and they do talk about a suspect or a person of interest, finally. All right, so let's get down to what happened. If you guys just came in here, hit that like button. I gave everyone enough time for me to tell you what happened and move through the story. All right, thank you. And you know what, Ali Callie, I got the watermelon Red Bull for you today. Hey, Kathy, I said hi to you. Cheeky, Midnight Lace, all my people in the house. Thank you for choosing true crime instead of trauma right now, because there's a lot of people in the trauma sector running their mouths, and y'all are here for the justice. There's 111 people, 111. Let's say a prayer that Emily Pike has justice and she gets the justice she deserves. And whoever did this to her and others need to be arrested, because it's not just her, but we're focusing on her. We'll show some other things today that bring these cases to light. Now, listen here. This was a typical thing for Emily Pike. She ran away a lot from that group home. And I always ask the question, what was she running from? Now, the evening of January 27, 2025, let's go back for a second. Emily Pike crawled out of her bedroom window at her group home in Mesa, Arizona. Now, she would never be seen alive again. Her dismembered remains were discovered on February 14th, about 100 miles away from the group home, in 2 large trash bags near Forest Road, on North Forest Road 355. All right. I already said that a few times. Now, AZ Family is the coverage on most of this, but according to them, investigators were unable to find her arms and her hands. No arms, no hands. And the reason I'm not reading this right now, the reason they speculate that her arms and her hands were never found was because possible scratching, and maybe that person scratched her or whatever, and they wanted to hide the evidence. All right. So they've yet to find, and they probably never will find, Emily Pike's hands and arms, but they did find some of the remains. All right. An autopsy then determined the young member of the San Carlos Apache Tribe died from homicidal violence with blunt head trauma. Now, remember, they did find her head, and I believe her torso were in one bag, and the rest of the remains were in the other. Now, where Emily went after she left the group home, how she ended up 100 miles away in a wooded area, Who killed her? It remains unclear. What happened to her and the way it happened to her is heartbreaking. Emily's aunt, there's a lot of family members that are coming out now. Carolyn Pike tells people it's a nightmare. It's a horror movie and it doesn't feel real. Even now, it doesn't feel real. Now, after her death, Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs signed Emily's Law, a bill that would establish an alert system for endangered people and tribal members under 65 who have vanished under suspicious circumstances, right? Was that the turquoise alert? You remember? Because otherwise they just label them as runaways. Now, you guys, again, I have to give you a major trigger warning because of the new body footage that came out. It shows that she wanted clearly out of that group home, and we hadn't seen this yet. We just clearly hadn't seen what she was going through. We had no idea. All right, so we're going to get into that. There's a couple of body cams that came out. In one instance, in September, guys, of 2023. Now, listen, Emily had ran away a bunch of times. They assumed she was going to come back at some point, but this time she never did. Now, the police body cam I'm going to show you, she says, "I just want to see my mom," adding that she wanted to stay with her grandma. She says, "I'm not going to that fucking group home." She said, "I hate it there." Despite her complaints, she eventually got into the car with the officer, and we'll see it. And January 27th, a staff member at the group home called 911 around 8:30 p.m. and said they had found the gate of the home was open and the screen door had been kicked out. "She's got a pink and gray striped long sleeve shirt," said the staff member. That's what one of the girls here at the group home had said. Now, a former roommate of Emily told Arizona Family that Emily took off because she wanted to go see a boy that she'd met at guitar lessons. She reportedly left around the same time a church group was visiting the group home, per her roommate. So everybody's thinking she went to go see a boy. She's running away. She's being a bad girl. Oh, it's just a typical thing, right? No, not so much. What it looked like was that church was there and she was served as a distraction when she left. Now, she left because she wanted to go out and see the boy she liked, is what they're told, and she wanted to talk to him. She used the back screen door or used window and left as everyone was distracted. The former roommate believes Emily's plan was to return to her family home. All right. Now, I'm not going to finish reading all this because she's going to tell you in the video. All right. She's going to tell you what she wants. Now, her aunt says she wants her niece, who loved pink, sparkly things, shopping art, and her cat to be remembered as a happy teen with a big heart. All right, guys, do me a favor here. Trigger warning. I'm going to pull this down and we're going to start off with this really tough. It's not very long, but it's long enough to be triggering, and it comes up a few times. All right, now we're going to fast forward to June 2025, and let's take a look at this. Trigger warning, please.
In the Emily Pike case, she was the 14-year-old girl found murdered after running away from her Mesa group home. While there are still no arrests in the case, new tonight, ABC 15 obtaining body camera video related to Emily's past disappearances. Ashley Holden joining me in studio now. And Ashley, this video giving us a new look into her heartbreaking past.
Faye, Emily Pike disappeared from a Mesa group home multiple times. The final time she left, the teen never returned and was found dead outside the valley. Before we aired this story tonight, we sat down with members on both sides of Emily's family so they could see the video we're about to show you in full, as still so many questions remain. It's important to note here, some of the video is tough to watch.
It's very tough to watch, but guys, if you don't watch it, then you're just closing your eyes to what's really happening, okay? Now, Sakaya, Strong Spirit, says they suppressed us. They still have us on the reservation. We still can be free, and the abusement on my people, all right? So if you don't want to watch this, I understand, but closing your eyes to a situation, anybody closing their eyes to a situation doesn't help. It just enables the situation to continue. MM Clark, I'm so glad you're here. I hope you're feeling better. Mo says, I was pretty good at running away. Yeah, funny back then, not so funny now. All right, just like a lot of cases that we cover, they run out to go to the store or they run out to meet someone and they never return. Clark, thank you so much. Hey, beautiful J Mods and chat, thank you for the $4.99. I hope you're feeling better. I sent you a text. Royal Bitch X member for 3 months. Justice for Emily and for the missing and indigenous people and the people that are currently there. All right, we need to do better. What's up, Jenna Bug? Good to see you. All right, trigger warning, major. All right, we now know after seeing this that her hands and arms have not been found, but her other body parts were found in 2 bags, okay, 100 miles away from where she was supposed to be.
Emily, can you please stop for me so I can talk to you?
September 20th, 2023, a Mesa police officer spots then 13-year-old Emily Pike walking along a canal after she was reported missing by her group home.
No, I don't want to go back.
I know. Let's talk, okay?
No.
It's okay. Hey, it's okay. You're not in trouble, okay?
As we've reported, Emily reported 2 sexual assaults before being placed in foster care. The San Carlos Apache Tribe placed her in a home operated by Sacred Journey, Inc.
Now, listen, this is hard. And Happy Cappy, I'm sorry to see you go. If you hit that like button on your way out, anybody that's sensitive to it, hey, do what you need to for your mental health. This is happening. And what I'm going to tell you right now is I believe that this officer should also be held accountable. All right. He should be held accountable. When you see what he does, he doesn't even try to sympathize, empathize, or anything. He automatically starts treating her like a criminal, which makes me so mad because this could have saved her life right here, right there, and right now. She could be alive. Lisa Smith, see the problem when teenagers are missing and they use the runaway, but the problem when they run away, they're... And Lisa, I gotta tell you, it didn't used to be this dangerous when I was growing up. My mom would say, okay, go ride your bikes with your friends. Come back when it gets dark outside. I would never do that now. And my daughter's older than me. I would never do that. All right? It's not even a thing anymore. And this one, we did a whole episode on why she would run away. We didn't know. Now we know a lot more, and I'm going to break it down for you today.
I just want to see my mom.
All right, come here. We'll call your mom, okay?
No.
It's okay. Well, tell us
Just
what's
let
going
me
on.
go.
Tell us what's going on.
I want to stay with my grandma instead.
Emily repeatedly saying the group home was not her home. She was reported missing 2 other times that year, but police records show she was either found or later returned.
Did she ever run away then?
Yeah, she had a walk back there.
This is body cam video from January of this year showing a Mesa police officer taking down the information for Emily when she was reported missing again.
And have you done like a sweep of the house just to make sure that she's not like hiding in the closet or something weird? Okay.
And that's a problem, guys. You have to tell your children and others that running away nowadays doesn't get them to where they want to go. And trust me, they don't want to go to group homes. They may never come home. This world is sick. I believe in the end of days. And I'm sorry, I know that like I'm usually all positive and I'm still happy, but this is heavy. This is heavy. And the fact that Emily Pike was even found the way that she was found with these officers doing what they did makes me angry. All right. Yeah. Growing up in the 90s was awesome. I don't remember any of that crap. All right. Jen's a gypsy like a flower. Yeah, it's just not the same. And I want to thank you, Michael. I'm going to say choo choo. Big fish tapping, baby. Let's go. All right.
That's what we're supposed to do. I looked under the bed, I looked in the closet, I looked outside, the gate was open, the screen to your window was kicked out.
Emily, now 14, was found weeks later, murdered about 20 miles northeast of Globe. The Gila County Sheriff's Office is leading the investigation with help from agencies like the FBI and Bureau of Indian Affairs, but there have been no arrests in her case.
So many other questions pop up regarding these videos. When I say we failed her, we all did. It just heartbreaking.
ABC 15 showed the full body camera video to relatives of Emily's on both sides of her family.
I think that's the right approach that officer.
And there's a full body cam. This is a clip of it. It hadn't even got to where it gets heavy. All right. No such thing as monsters, but then the world's full of them. Right. We don't tell our children to be afraid of monsters. We tell them to be afraid of real people because real people are monsters. Those are the ones you don't know. All right. They should be held accountable. This officer absolutely says, I'll arrest you I'll put handcuffs if I have to. You'll see. We'll get there.
Look right there. I mean, like I said, there's more questions that pop up. Did the tribal social services keep contact with them? How often did they reach out to the group home?
The Department of Child Safety did launch a licensing inquiry into the group home where Emily was staying, but told us they did not believe any action taken or not.
Now, listen, they are now being sued, and there's a parallel situation with another female. And I want you to remember that they're abusing and raping these females. All right. Sakaya says, thank you, blessing upon your family and children. If you have any, and I do, thank you. Safe night. Hold your children and hug them. Emily Pike agreed. All right. Yeah, that was just a snippet.
Taken by the home caused the terrible outcome in this case.
All right. I have to show you this because this was the September 2023 video that took forever to get released. And they only showed you a tiny snippet. They left out the law enforcement officer that really should be held accountable, in my opinion. Let's look here. It's only 27 seconds. It seems longer, though.
Emily, can you please stop for me so I can talk to you?
No, I don't want to go back.
I know. Let's talk, okay?
No.
It's okay. Hey,
My mom.
it's okay. You're not in trouble, okay?
I just want to see my mom.
All right, come here. We'll call your mom, okay?
No.
It's okay.
Well, tell us
Just
what's
let
going
me go.
Tell us what's going on.
I want to
That's
stay
all.
with
This
my
is
grandma instead.
We don't know why. All I can speculate is that this foster home is taking in a ton of money, guys. Now, this officer tells her, relax, okay? I need to get back to where you need to go. He doesn't ask her why she's running away or who she's running from, but instead he says the teen group home is not, she says it's not her home. She wants to go home. Then the 13-year-old repeats it. She wants to speak to her mom. At some point, the officer says no one understands her or is going to help her. I'm not effing going there. I hate it there. Eventually, Emily does get into the car with the police. And I think I just showed that one. Police officer calls from the group home. Hold on, let me make sure. There's this one. And is this the same one? Let me double check.
Did she ever run away then?
There it is.
And have you done like a sweep of the house just to make sure that she's not like hiding in the closet or something weird? Okay.
That's what we're supposed to do. I looked under the bed, I looked in the closet, I looked outside, the gate was open, the screen to the window was kicked out.
I'll run by real quick here. I'll get you to sign the missing person's affidavit to enter in as a missing person. I'll pick up that picture from you, and then I'll try to at least like search around in the area. It hasn't been too long. I'll check over by the A's facilities as well on my way up to you, just to see if she kind of went back to that same spot if we're lucky. And then you kind of know how it goes from there. We'll get her in as a missing person, and then if we get contact with her, obviously we'll notify you right away that we found her. All right.
See you in a bit.
Yep, see you in a bit. Bye.
It's not his job, but he sees a helpless teenager that's run out several times. And instead of saying, why are you so upset? Why don't you want to go back? He doesn't. And again, it's not his job. It's not my job to take the time out of my day when I do something with someone to have a little bit of human compassion either. But it's what I do and it's who I am. He didn't even have any. You're going to see it gets worse later. We just got started. Yeah. Kids don't cry like that because they want to go back somewhere. Trust me. Now, when we first originally did this episode, it hadn't come out yet. None of the stuff had come out yet that I'm showing you today. So what I want to show you is the Sacred Heart group home is now being sued by Emily Pike's dad. I also have those documents I'm going to show you as well. It's interesting that her dad's so quick to step up for her to make money and to sue. But where the hell was her dad when she wanted to go visit her, when she wanted to go to grandma's, when she wanted her mom, when she needed to tell someone that she was being raped? Where was he then? Where were all these family members that we're seeing on the news talk about her now? Where were they? That's what I want to know. And kids don't cry like that if it's something's not happening. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. It makes no sense. There's no more human compassion in this world anymore. We find more entertainment by turning on YouTube and watching people get their face smashed with a cake or making fun of somebody fat or doing bloopers than we do to take care and have human compassion for people. And I just don't get it. I really don't. Yeah. I cannot comprehend it. Let's take a look at the lawsuit filed against the group home. And I find it odd that her dad stepped up for this, but where was he when she needed someone to save her?
Filing this wrongful death suit on behalf of Emily Pike's dad. It includes multiple allegations and specifically names Sacred Journey, Inc.
No, I don't want to go back.
I know. Let's talk, okay?
Body camera video shows one of the 4 times Emily Pike was reported missing from her Mesa group home, run by Sacred Journey, Inc.
Did she ever run away then?
Yeah, she had a walk back.
The 14-year-old was reported missing in January for the final time and found weeks later murdered off the US 60 northeast of Globe. No arrests have been made. The San Carlos Apache teen was in the care of tribal social services, but living in a group home licensed by the state.
What is ultimately the end goal for this lawsuit?
The end goal for this lawsuit is justice.
Olivia Lemorocco is the VP of operations for.
Hey, that kind of looks like Carly. Carly, you're on the TV. Sorry, guys. I had to lighten it for a second. I'm like, okay, all right, cleanse your palate. And you're right, Maggie. Listen, like Maddie and Yolanda, Maddie cried to Yolanda to not take her home, and no reason to even ask, why is it so rough? Why do you not want to go home? Maybe then somebody would listen. All right. What we need to look at is, why do the kids always run away? Because something is wrong. We know going into the system, we have a high risk to go through trauma or worse. And she absolutely was. She had reported it. There were also reports of sexual assault. All right. Carly's in the video. We're going to talk about her cause of death after, and it's disgusting because we didn't know it last time. Why even go to that length? But I think I know why. Let's continue. So that group home is being sued right now as we speak.
Phillip's Law Group, which is representing Emily's dad, Jensen Pike.
There are many records that we've uncovered, and we're going through everything with a fine-tooth comb.
The firm recently filing a wrongful death lawsuit alleging negligence and negligent hiring and retention, naming Sacred Journey.
What happens now?
So what happens now is we're waiting for a response, which should happen any day here. So from that, then the investigation will continue.
ABC 15 has reported that the Department of Child Safety said their hotline was not called in January when Emily Pike was reported missing the final time. DCS has since told her group home to update their policies and train their staff to alert the DCS hotline, regardless of which agency placed the child.
Can you imagine that things don't happen until something like this happens? Now, I want you to know this has brought 3 other cases, well, at least 3 big cases to the missing and murdered Indigenous men, women, children, people in general. So I do have to say, Emily, you are an angel. You are absolutely the community's angel, and you're making the change, Emily. You're not here with us anymore, but you are single-handedly making the change and helping get Emily's Law. All right. This is going to help so that a runaway can't just say, oh, she ran away. Okay. It's absolutely starting to work. All right. Alan Coker, good to see you. I know. All right. Let's continue.
In the home.
So that leads us to believe, what else was not followed? When Emily's crying and asking for help at that group home, is she given help? Is anybody there to give her basic needs and wants? And that's to be determined.
Could DCS still be added onto this suit?
There's always that possibility. At this time, we're not looking in that direction. We're looking at Sacred Journey Group Home.
Sacred Journey has yet to file a response to the lawsuit. We did reach out to the company, and we are still waiting for a response. Ashley Holden, ABC.
Now, I can't understand why the other family, it's weird because we're going to watch some things where the family steps in. But the very odd thing about when the family steps in is, why didn't the family step in when she was alive? Why couldn't she go live with grandma? Do you know what I mean? Why couldn't she go to her mom's? I think her and her mom had contentious, and not only that, I think her mom may have been on DRUGs. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. I gotta pull this up real quick. I'm trying to get you I want to show you the documents quickly. But I can't understand where people are when this is happening, where they are and where they go. They're all for it after they're gone, but what about when they need you, when they're alive? All right, let's see how that comes out. Let me have you take a look. I'm grateful that they're suing them. This is the attorneys for defendant Sacred Journey. That's a group home. All right. We independently looked at that group home, and it has a pretty bad track record of kids running away, missing, even deaths. Now, Jensen Pike, who is the surviving parent of Emily Pike and the representative of the statutory beneficiaries of Emily Pike, is deceased. That's a plaintiff versus Sacred Journey, an Arizona for-profit corporation. Now, mind you, when you have a group home that's for-profit, I assure you they're packing people in like sardines and they're taking full advantage. It's all about money. Now, defendant Sacred Journey and through counsel undersigned and its answer to plaintiffs' first amend complaint hereby admits, denies, and alleges as follows. Sacred Journey has insufficient information to either admit or deny the allegations contained in paragraph 1, and therefore it denies the same demands strict proof thereof. We're not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to show you the main points. Right, paragraph 2 talks about legal conclusion. Sacred Journey admits the allegations contained in paragraph 3, and Sacred Journey denies the allegations in 4 as it relates to an insufficient information to either admit or deny. Now, again, they haven't given a response, but one of the counts that's in there is plaintiff realleges and incorporates the paragraphs above as set forth. On around February 1st, 2025, Emily Pike was living at a group home operated by Sacred Journey in Maricopa, Arizona. On or around February 14th, Emily Pike was found murdered and dismembered, guys, in Gila County, Arizona. I'm not sure how to say that. As a direct proximate result of defendant's negligence, actions, and or inactions, Emily suffered fatal injuries. As a direct and proximate result of the negligence of each defendant and direct and proximate result of the death of the decedent, Emily Pike, plaintiff has forever been deprived of love, care, attention, companionship, guidance, counseling, and services of the decedent, and has thereby been damaged in an amount to be proven at the trial. Okay, that's all I have for now. And then the handprint there, which I already read, and then there is her. This is her resting place, right? We don't want her to be forgotten. A memorial now stands where, and I'll show you that after. She should still be here. A memorial stands where she was last seen. All right. Instead, her name lives through candles, prayers, and a memorial I placed where she was last seen. I don't know who that was because Tiff did this, but yeah. Hashtag say her name. Hashtag MMIWG. Hashtag justice for Emily. Let's not forget her. Okay, so there's that. Let's put that and let's keep going. Good to see everybody. How you doing today? Come on in, hit that like button, subscribe, get some memberships, do the do. Let's get to the goal, guys. Humble servant. Hello, how are you? All right, good to see everybody in here. This case definitely needs attention. Now, let me take you back to February 14th, 2025, when her body was found, and now cause of death and investigation progress we're leading up to 2026. All right.
On June 30th, 2025, Emily Pike's official cause of death was revealed: homicidal violence with blunt head trauma. The autopsy was conducted by the Pinal County Medical Examiner, who partners with Gila County in these cases. Dr. Rebecca Hsu, who is the former chief medical examiner for Pinal County, explained in an interview that the phrase homicidal violence is often used when a case involves significant trauma, especially when the body is incomplete or dismembered, as is the case with Emily.
And guys, you know that she had blunt force trauma to her head, and they did find her head. So imagine they had already took her life in that way, and then to dismember her the way they did and disrespect her by taking her hands and her arms. And I'm sure that means something. Either it had the evidence or there was a meaning to that. Maybe because she seems like she'd fight back. She was fighting back, clawing, scratching, biting, whatever she could. I bet you she pissed that dude off. And there is a person of interest that's an older guy. All right. So let's continue.
He said, quote, beating someone, bludgeoning someone potentially to death is a much more violent type of way of killing someone. When they say homicidal violence, especially in cases where the body may not be intact, it can be very difficult to really determine. It does take months to do an appropriate workup, especially if a body has been dismembered. That technically is some sharp force trauma. But was this something that happened post-mortem or ante-mortem? Those things take a little while to try to figure out. At this time, the full medical examiner's report has not been released. Hi, I'm Amanda, and this is Their Voice Matters, where we cover true crime stories with compassion and care. My goal is to amplify
links in chat. I just wanted to get up to speed on the cause of death, and let's see what else she has to say.
In the case of Emily Pike, the 14-year-old girl who ran.
We'll put this just for a few minutes because I want you to see who she is, who she was. There's not that many pictures that you find out there, but there are a lot when you start digging into it.
Ran away from her group home in Mesa, Arizona in January 2025 and was tragically found dismembered 2 weeks later on Valentine's Day, more than 100 miles away. The Gila County Sheriff's Office has shared that they have served several search warrants in connection to Emily's case. This includes a residential structure, a vehicle, and a storage trailer. Items from those searches have been sent for forensic analysis, and they've also interviewed a person of interest.
Now, this is another one of those cases like, wait, what? Because they actually do have DNA and a person of interest and a description, but we don't know exactly what went down, what happened, who she was talking to, what her electronics look like. Was she using someone else's? This is strange. We're a year and about a month since this happened. And guys, I agree with that. I'm going to show you how much they step up now, but they sure didn't step up when she was alive. And if the family's watching this, challenge me and come tell me that you did fight for her and they didn't let you have her. Challenge me. I'd like to hear that.
But investigators have said they currently do not consider that person a suspect. Some digital evidence has also reportedly been collected for analysis, but no further details have been made public yet.
Yeah.
Body cam footage from September 20th, 2023 has also been released. In the footage, officers are seen speaking with Emily after she ran away from her group home. She was visibly distressed and told police, quote, I just want to see my mom. I'm not going to that fucking group home. I hate it there. She also told them that she would rather stay with her grandma than go back to the group home.
And that's why I say, where's the grandma? Where's the mom? Where's the dad that's filing a lawsuit? She had already reported sexual abuse, okay? That place already, that group home already had shady dealings. Too many children. They had violations. If you go back to my playlist called Emily Pike, you can go watch my other episodes where we deep dove into that facility, and you'll see what I mean. A lot of shady dealings. I don't even know if they're still open. I was looking and I can't tell. It's like they took this name and just used it for the purpose of profiting with children.
And that no one understands her or is going to help her.
Emily, can you please stop for me so I can talk to you?
No, I don't want to go back.
I know. Let's talk, okay?
No.
It's okay. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, it's okay. You're not in trouble, okay? We'll call your mom, okay? It's okay. Well, tell us what's going on. Tell us what's going on.
I want to stay with my grandma instead.
Despite her emotional state, Officers were eventually able to get her in the police car and take her back to her group home. The footage is incredibly difficult to watch. We can hear the pain in her voice, and it gives us a heartbreaking look into Emily's mental and emotional.
Now listen, they called 911 right out of the gate. Do you think they called 911 because they cared with their heart? Or they were like, man, if we don't have her name to check off this month, we're not going to get that extra paycheck. You know what I'm saying? They know what they're doing there.
State just 16 months before her death. The reward for information leading to an arrest in Emily's case has been increased to $200,000.
Yes.
Thanks to contributions from Silent Witness, the Arizona Department of Public Safety, Gila County, and the San Carlos Apache Tribe. If you have any information about who may have killed Emily, please call 480-WITNESS. or submit a tip at silentwitness.org. I'll be following developments and sharing updates as they happen, so be sure to subscribe or follow on podcast platforms. If you haven't seen my full episode on Emily's case, I'll link it here and in the description. It goes into much more detail about Emily's life, her disappearance, the discovery of her body, and the deeper systemic failures that may have contributed to her death. What do you think about this latest update?
All right, we're going to continue. I'm going to thank you guys for being here. I am so surprised for a missing and indigenous show that we have 200 people in chat. Guys, I love it. Thank you guys for supporting the cases that I bring to you. You guys could be doing anything else, anywhere else, but you're here. All right. Now, this is literally the FBI. I love that the FBI has a most wanted for fugitives and missing people. So for this came directly from the FBI. Murder victim Emily Pike seeking information. Now it was $75,000. Now it's $200,000 for any person providing independent, verifiable information identifying individuals responsible for the disappearance and taking of her life. All right. The FBI is offering this. And let me just share this with you real quick so you can see where it came from. I love getting all the information. I'm just a big nerd like that. I try to learn as much as I can. So there's FBI.gov, got most wanted and seeking. So this is Emily Pike, January to February 25. Remember, her body was found on February 14th. All right. And basically this is saying the same thing. If you have a tip, call 1-800-CALL-FBI. All right. And this is the San Carlos Apache Tribal Police and Mesa Police Department. We don't want to give it over to the reservation because they might not do anything. Past Perfect Pam, welcome. It's very triggering, but I appreciate you guys being here. I'm going to put a clip up really quickly, and then I've got to run for just a second and help baby Guilty with something real quick. All right, so wait, this isn't the one I wanted to show you. Hold on. I've got two that I'm queued up, but I want to make sure that we get everything. Okay, so this is the actual taking of her life in Arizona, and it prompts changes in the group home, guys. So this was only 4 months ago, and we're going to continue moving forward with the next one being her shining the light on more missing and indigenous women and men. All right. So she's making changes and she's not even alive. Please say a prayer for change.
With us here at 5:30, we're talking about group homes this evening. They are under increased scrutiny in Arizona with several high-profile cases of children in the system running away, going missing, even winding up dead.
Well, the state is supposed to be cutting the number of kids, at-risk kids placed in those group homes. Arizona's Family Investigates found about 1,400 are still in them. Amy Cutler shows us how too many kids have fallen through the cracks and the new efforts to keep kids safe.
Everybody feels her pain of what happened to her.
Emily Pike called the San Carlos Apache Reservation in southeastern Arizona home for most of her young life.
We just don't want her to be another statistic.
Now all her family has left is this memorial off the main road. It's been 9 months since the 14-year-old was murdered.
I cry myself to sleep sometimes.
Carolyn Bender, Emily's aunt, is haunted by the fact that her killer is still out there.
What happened to her is just not right. It really isn't. It really isn't. And we have to live with it.
First up at 5.
The girl's family tells us she went missing from a group home in Mesa at the end of January.
2.5 weeks after Emily went missing, her remains were found right here off Highway 60, about 30 minutes north of Globe. Authorities say her remains had been dismembered, put into 2 contractor bags, and dumped on the side of a trail.
Do you think she should?
All right, guys, thank you for your patience. I still have 190 people in here. I appreciate you. I did not mute myself so you guys can hear me. So I didn't make a mistake. And yes, baby Guilty is feeling much better. You remember I told you she was throwing up when she came home this weekend? Yeah, much better today. As a matter of fact, she was so much better that she DoorDashed herself some food. All right, let's get into it. Love baby Guilty. All right, these were the bags, and I want to tell you guys that this was another situation here. Well, I first want you to know where she was found, 100 miles away. Also, this was another situation where they put leaked footage, leaked images of Emily Pike's body. Those bags were leaked, and I don't know what else because I'm not seeking it out, but one of the officers did what Officer Dum Dum in the Madeline Soto case. Remember, he took a picture of her, Maddie, dead, and he leaked it out on accident to Instagram. Well, yeah, that happened in this case as well. What's up, Justice Jane? How you doing, girl? You guys come on in, relax, hit that like button.
Highway 60, about 30 minutes north of Globe. Authorities say her remains had been dismembered, put into 2 contractor bags, and dumped on the side of a trail.
Do you think she should have been in that group home in Mesa to begin with?
I do not.
I don't understand.
I really do not. You take a teenager, 11-year-old from a family-oriented community.
Now, do you see why this is touched so close to home? My daughter is literally 11 right now. I cannot fathom in my worst nightmare anything to the smallest extent happening like that in parallel. Okay, now there was another girl in that group home that in parallel also went missing and I believe has not been found, as well as a man near that has been found deceased. This is wild that this is even happening. And why are these people talking now? Why didn't they get her out of there? I don't get it.
You take her 70, 90 miles away, the area she's unfamiliar with.
Arizona's Family Investigates discovered Emily ran away from that group home 4 times between September and November of 2023.
Emily.
It wasn't until police body camera video was released that we learned the depth of Emily's struggles.
No, I don't.
Exactly. We had no idea, guys. We were doing this case. We were covering this case in the dark. Nobody would talk at the group home. Nothing had been revealed. We didn't know where the heck she was. Man, this is crazy. A child had no one. But why is everybody stepping up now? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why did they even put her in this damn group home? All right, let's continue. We're going to be here for a while, guys.
I want to go back.
Court documents showed Tribal Social Services took custody of her after a relative sexually assaulted her. After trying to take her own life, she was placed in that group home.
I just want to see my mom.
Okay, now we know. I didn't even know that. Do you hear what happened? Now remember, the reservation governs themselves. They don't typically use outside people. They literally just said that one of her family members S8'd her, and so she ended up in a group home. How does that happen? And you could hear her begging and crying for her not wanting to go home. No, that's Allie Callie. They didn't. That's the thing. Exactly. Like I said, go back to my other episodes and you'll see how dirty that group home really is.
I don't want to go back.
I know.
No, you don't. No one understands me.
But going home wasn't an option for Emily.
Well, listen, we just showed that. All right, listen up again, guys, real quick. How did she end up in a group home? I'm going to answer that question, and then I'll have to make you rewind it.
Her after a relative sexually assaulted.
Hold on, right there.
That we learn the depth of Emily's struggles.
No, I don't want to go back.
Court documents showed tribal social services took custody of her after a relative sexually assaulted her.
Tribal services, right? Like CPS, the tribal services took her away because she was being SA'd, and they put her. That is absolutely ridiculous. Thank you. Removed her from family and placed her in a facility and ignored her repeated request to live with grandmother to choose a safe. And now she ran away 4 times, and on the 4th time she never came back. Thank you, Cynthia.
After trying to take her own life, she was placed in that group home.
I just want to see my mom. I don't want to go back.
I know.
No, you don't. No one understands me.
But going home wasn't an option for Emily. Family members say her mother was addicted to drugs, her father in prison.
I hope you guys are getting the answers now, because these are the answers coming out. We just heard, and I said the thing, mom's probably on drugs. Dad's in prison. All of a sudden, dad gets out of prison and he wants to file a lawsuit. Wow, what a stand-up guy. It just makes me angry. I'm sorry.
Meanwhile, she continued harming herself.
It's sad. It's really sad. And
David Lujan is a former director of the Department of Child Safety, or DCS, the state agency tasked with protecting kids. They oversee group homes. 5 years ago, to settle a class action lawsuit, DCS agreed to stop relying on group homes. Lujan admits they've missed the mark.
The number of children in group homes is not reduced like it should. And the reason is the children that remain in group homes tend to be older, tend to be teenagers, tend to have really complex needs.
Guys, I'm going to tell you that, and money. Money makes the world go round, and it's also ran by pedos. Okay, so you get money and you say you don't even care about the kid's face, what they look like. It's just dollar bills that you get this name, and this is how much of a check you get for this person. We don't care who's what and who does what, as long as they shut the F up and they stay alive in our facility, then we're good. She was absolutely crying out for help. She ran away 4 times after being SA'd by her own family. What's up, Bree? Good to see you. I know, but it's making change. Changes are happening.
In response to our questions, DCS says they're trying to recruit more foster families, and they acknowledge the importance. Data shows those in group homes are more likely to run away and go missing. According to the latest report from the state agency, 97 teens did just that in September alone.
Law enforcement, I think, often gets frustrated because they don't know of whether these youth are in danger, or they're just, trying to get away for a 24-hour period to go be with friends.
But changes are coming.
Top story, the push for answers and accountability from an agency.
Following the murders of Emily Pike, Soraya Dodd, and Rebecca Baptiste, State Senator Karen Warner organized a closed-door meeting with DCS police.
Now, listen, the reason that's the case, Deborah, and I hate the fact that that's the case, but the reason it makes it less important, and again, I think they're doing this, they haven't changed the laws since 1950, 1960, whatever. Back then, people would run away and go hitchhike and crap. Nowadays, if you run away normally and you don't come home, you're probably already dead. There's so much more crime and so many more things that laws need to catch up to. There's predators luring your children out from the video game that they play, from the social media accounts that they log into. It is very important that they don't keep categorizing runaways as less important. Now, can we change that? Probably not. Look at the Rex Heuermann. It's not runaways, but Rex Heuermann targeted prostitutes and women that had drug problems. Why? Because no one goes looking for him. Nobody cares. Now, this guy who did this picked the wrong girl to do this with. I think that she fought her ass off, fought him back, and that's what happened to her hands and her arms. He said, she's going to do that to me? I'm going to take her, I'm just going to cut her all up, and she will never see him again. I'm telling you. All right? Always a trigger warning.
Foster care providers, tribal leaders, and Emily's family to address problems. Arizona's Family Investigates learns when Emily went missing, she wasn't in DCS's system. They didn't even have a photo of her.
Was it surprising for you to hear that that communication didn't exist prior to this?
Up until the hearing and really the Emily Pike case, I was not aware of that.
Warner sat down with us to talk about reforms now in the works. Those include creating critical information packets for each child in a group home,
so that law enforcement has a picture, they have an idea of what is happening.
I can't even believe they don't have that. But you know what's worse? Why did they take that little girl away from a situation where she was being essayed just to put her in one that was even worse? I can't comprehend this. Now, if I could save everyone, I would. Trust me. Nobody call Panda Ann. Panda Ann, turn your phone off. Yeah, she's fighting back even after death. Rest in peace, Emily. Let's continue. Lots of change here.
To that child, any siblings, any parents, so that they have a little more to go on than just looking for a child.
Warner says they'll also work on improving communication between tribes, DCS, and law enforcement.
Do you think there needs to be sort of a change in how police departments handle these cases?
Now, remember, this is in Arizona, and I guess I came across the case because I've been covering Nancy Guthrie in Arizona, okay? Those are long stretches of hot desert. I don't know how they came across those bags. I don't know if it was someone walking or hiking, but I am really surprised they even found those 2 bags. Chaos Queen, I hope that you're a lovely Chaos Queen. Welcome to the crime crew. This is awful. Say a prayer for Emily Pike. We like chaos, queens. We like organized chaos. Welcome in. All right, let's continue.
I have not had a law enforcement agency tell me that they don't treat every runaway as a important runaway.
Lujan says he would like to see police put more resources into this.
When youth are located and they're returned into state custody, is really talking with them and trying to understand the reasons why they left in the first place.
Emily's family also invested and wants to see change.
We're fighting for her, and we're trying to keep.
See, you're going to see the family pop up a lot. Now, they're finally being sued, but here's the thing. A facility like that is not a nonprofit. They don't have to be held accountable for much. Now, if it was a nonprofit or 501c3, if it were one of those, there's more regulations having to check on, etc. But they were a for-profit home, and I have a feeling, guys, that there's hands exchanging money from the reservation to that group home. They are literally exchanging money, I believe, behind the scenes to get that person over to them. I'll give you a cut, like a commission. Hey, every time you sell a book, you get $3, right? And I'm just making this up. But every time you send a child over here, I'm going to give you a commission. Let's say they get paid $3,000 a month for a child. I'm going to give you 10% of that. Keep sending the kids over here, and you're going to keep profiting. Arting with Lynn, welcome. All right, let's continue.
Her name alive.
Do you remain hopeful that there'll be an arrest made in Emily's case?
Yes. If you don't have hope, then the frustration, the anger, and everything else builds up.
Yep.
Now, the Gila County Sheriff's Office is heading up the investigation into Emily's murder. They are working with the FBI on the case, but 9 months in, they still do not have a suspect. There is a
and it's going to change a little bit here. There's some things going on and change we're going to get up to. So Melissa, what's up? Good to see you. Welcome in. Those insanely hot days, her body parts were found in black plastic trash bags. Can you imagine having to do an autopsy on that? I mean, that's just terrible. I don't even know how I guess they came to that conclusion because she probably had a skull fracture. That was her cause of death, was the fractured skull and the trauma to her head. All right, we're going to see the light that's shining because I need you to see a couple other of the people that went missing in parallel.
$1,000 reward for information.
Now it's up to $200,000, by the way.
Leading to an arrest.
You talked about the one stakeholder meeting. Is there anything else planned or any further proposed changes?
So there is another stakeholder meeting planned for later this month, and advocates are really pushing for changes here. They say they are working on a bill with some other state lawmakers that they are hoping to put forward this upcoming.
Now, they did make Emily's law, which is like the turquoise law that we showed the other day. It's anybody under 65. That way they don't just say, oh, it's a kid, it's a runaway. Chaos Queen 7706. Thank you for becoming an official crime crew member. Yes, my goodness. I can't even imagine that heat. Okay, so now Emily is no longer with us, and this is what we have left of her. We have a bench like Madeline Soto with a plaque on it that people can go sit on. Let's just take a look at this. This is her family. They're representing their community.
The plaque they have there, you know, it means a lot. Going from a temporary memorial to transitioning to a permanent memorial, it means a lot. It's the city of Mesa just moving at light speed and making this happen. We appreciate the city of council, the mayor, and all the tribal leaders that came out and supported us as well. Peace, serenity,
nothing,
and
probably
hope for a better future, because whatever she wasn't able to accomplish because her life was cut short, we pray that others are able to make it in their lives, especially people who have lost hope.
Now, listen, we don't even know what happened to the person that allegedly SA'd her. And do you want to know why? I'm sure you want to know why. The reason why is because they govern themselves. I bet you my car keys that they did nothing to that person. I bet you the person that was essaying her was a higher up person in the tribe, so to speak, or somebody that was well-to-do in control of something. And again, you push them off to this Sacred Heart group home, and now you're catching 10% or 20%, whatever the number is. All right. Light speed. What's that? Midnight Lace. Arting with Lynn says, I'm so proud of you. Thank you for being drama free. You're very welcome. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. All right. Midnight Lace, my girl. I ran away from a group home, a foster home, and a facility right over the barbed wire fence. Wow, Jules DeCali. I'm so glad you're here with us too. I don't know, because they don't govern that and they have to do internal investigations is probably why.
That they get hope from her, you know, knowing that she had plans and if she went through things in her life, but she still looked forward to a positive future. I want people to understand that they can have that positive outset no matter what they go through. I told the mayor's assistant, Jason, he's like, when
we haven't even got to any of that stuff that I was going to tell you, that this place is where this happened in Arizona is a hub for trafficking. Not only that, it wouldn't be a far stretch for me to say that the reservation traffics people on a regular basis. Not only traffics people elsewhere, but traffics them out to the group homes and to people for money. All right. And I did read that. And I do remember them saying that. We'll get to it.
They catch whoever did this. We can't think negative. We can't think that nothing will ever happen. If we do, we end up losing hope. We get bitter. We get angry. It's best to hold out hope and pray that law enforcement does find the right leads and catch the people who did this.
It made me feel emotional, even though when I was coming down the road, I was crying, knowing that I'm going to be at the park where she walked.
Really happy when I got the word that this was going to happen, and it was a powerful event to put something permanent that's going to continue the reminder of how we lost such a beautiful young girl of the San Carlos Apache Tribe at only age 14. It's been a little over a year now, and it's kind of sad that we haven't received any positive report that there's a lead or there's a suspect.
Well, we're getting there, mister. We're getting there. All right, just wanted to show you. Yeah, we don't want a damn bench, but you know what? We got a bench for Madeline Soto, and that was a big leap. And I tell you why, is because it's hard to work with the city in order to do those type of things. All right, it happened, and now Emily, may she rest in peace, is actually making changes now that she's no longer with us. I'm going to show you how, and then we're going to get into all new stuff. So Emily shines a light on other missing and Indigenous men and women, and I'll show you. All right, let's continue. Thank you for being here, everybody that's here. I appreciate you. You guys could be anywhere else, but you decided to come here and say a prayer for Emily Pike and really understand what is happening in this case. Let me make sure I got the right one. Not just this case, but the others. Okay, missing. I want to make sure it's the right one. Double check. Hold on. Yep, there it is. Okay, let's go. This guy too.
And calls for justice. I-Team reporter Erica Stapleton is looking at what the state is doing to address these kinds of cases.
Arizona actually has a missing and murdered Indigenous people task force. I was able to obtain their annual reports that not only call this a crisis, but point out gaps in solving these kinds of cases.
A painful reality
I have 2 sons,
for Birdie Bitsui.
one missing and one murdered.
She said her sons, Drew James and Alexander Esky.
And guys, just recently, I can't remember the little girl's name. It was a little missing Indigenous girl. She was missing for quite some time, and they found her body. I was going to cover that case, but everything else swept right past me, and I didn't make it to cover it. So I'm trying to make up for that here by covering not only missing teen Emily Pike, but also the new laws and the people that she's putting a spotlight to help bring them home and bring awareness to her community. Because if we don't do it, who will? Thank you, Carol. I appreciate the $5 super sticker. Clark says, if I were 10 years younger, I wouldn't have mind taking in a foster child. We can give. Yeah, you know, if I didn't have a daughter that I already have to focus on, I wouldn't want to put somebody else in that predicament. Bring it. Who knows what they're in? Thank you. I thank you, Sylvette. I appreciate that. It's much nicer than the alternative.
Grew up on the Navajo Nation. In April 2020, 25-year-old Drew was shot and killed near 57th Ave and Thomas in Phoenix. Still, no arrests.
It went cold.
2 months later, in June 2020, 37-year-old Alex went missing near Kayenta and hasn't been seen since.
Try to be strong because I have to find answers for them. But there's days that I cry, I break down.
The murder of Emily Pike, a 14-year-old girl found dismembered outside of Globe after she disappeared from her group home in Mesa, putting other missing and murdered Indigenous people's cases in the spotlight.
These communities are deserving of more resources, more time, more airtime, more attention.
Elaine Breland is the chief prosecutor for the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian community. She's also on Arizona's Missing and Murdered Indigenous People Task Force, formed by executive order in 2023 by Governor Katie Hobbs. So far, the task force has issued 2 annual reports to the governor, highlighting in part the difficulties of solving these cases, including poor communication between law enforcement and tribes, questions about who gets.
You know, I still can't comprehend why it goes like that. Why they're letting. I understand the rights that they're trying to wrong, but they're using really old methods of letting them govern themselves, and it's not working. It's like they need to put something new into place that works. DJ, what's up? Have them drop your link, buddy. I hope you're doing well. Saucy Skin CBD, you're very welcome. It's our job to do that. We gotta let these people. We gotta let people know about these Indigenous people that are missing and nobody's talking about. As a matter of fact, I pulled up this little. It just took me a second to find 8-year-old Northern Arizona girl that was missing. They found her body right near Phoenix. I mean, this is happening over and over again. I know the corruption is everywhere. I agree. Corruption and power is what happens.
Jurisdiction and a lack of data, particularly when it comes to missing kids.
It's very difficult to solve a problem when the data that you need to know the gravity of the problem literally doesn't exist.
You're like a lion in a cage as a mother. You can't sit still.
Birdie says there's been a recent break in her son Alex's missing persons case.
The vehicle that he went missing with was found.
And that a lot falls on her family's shoulders when it comes to getting answers.
Well, that's what we're doing right now. We're pushing.
Erica Stapleton, 12 News.
All right, so she's shining the light, and while she shines the light, I'm going to shine the light for a minute and a half on this little girl that I wanted to cover. I didn't get to. Let me just show you. She was missing. They found her in Phoenix, 8 years old, little indigenous.
Tuesday night on Cedar Loop in the Coal Mine Canyon area, east of Tuba City near Flagstaff.
Caribe Devine is joining us now with what we know about the case. Caribe.
Yeah, guys, just a tragic ending to this story. Not many details have been released yet, but the Navajo Police Department says that police, the FBI, and the Navajo Department of Criminal Investigation are investigating the, quote, disappearance and death of Malika Boone. Public safety officials say that Boone was last seen playing in a housing area Thursday evening around.
All right, so I don't know if any of you guys seen this little girl, but if you didn't, you're seeing her now, okay? She went missing. She needed people to look out for her. She's 8 years old, and I don't understand how this even can happen, but
around 6 o'clock at night. Her family reported her missing, saying that they were concerned for the 8-year-old's welfare since it was out of character for her to be gone for an extended period of time. A turquoise alert was then issued around 1:30. And then today, officials announced the alert had been canceled and the investigation into Boone's death and disappearance was ongoing. Navajo police say that
now, guys, the turquoise alert is directly from Emily Pike and her case. It came directly from that. So Emily Pike is shining the light on the indigenous people already. All right, let's continue.
Coal mine area will be on lockdown until further notice. In a news release, they wrote all residents will be asked to remain within their home area as law enforcement conduct further investigations. Again, authorities have not released many details on how Malika Boone's body was found, the cause of death, or if they believe it was under suspicious circumstances. But if you have any information on this case, you are being asked to call the FBI at 1-800-FBI. Tram, Mark, back to you.
All right. We got 1 year later. All right. It's been a year and a month now. Now, I missed the mark a little bit. We get busy with cases. And this is 1 year later. All right. 1 year and let's say a month. And then we got so much more. We're going to talk about the suspect and all of this. Let's continue.
1 year since 14-year-old Emily Pike was last seen at this Mesa intersection. Now, advocates are making sure she's remembered as a human being, not a statistic. Dozens of mourners gathering at the intersection of North Mesa Drive and East McKellips Road Sunday evening to remember the name that has united so many of them.
It's very heavy. It's very heavy. It was heavy for me to come here today to know that it's been a year.
Exactly.
Still unsolved.
14-year-old Emily Pike, a member of the San Carlos Apache Tribe, went missing from her Mesa group home around this time in January last year. She was found dead and dismembered on February 14th off US 60 northeast of Globe. Authorities say homicidal violence with blunt head trauma caused her death.
It's unfortunate that, there's a lot of cases like Emily that go unnoticed.
Disheartening. It's really disheartening to know that, people are still grieving her and they haven't received justice.
The Gila County Sheriff's Office, who is investigating the case, told ABC 15 on Friday that their detectives are still working on this, but they didn't have any new information to release. Since Pike's murder last year, Arizona lawmakers passed House Bill 2281, known as Emily's Law, which established the turquoise alert system in the state.
And guys, we just covered a case last week, and I'm so grateful that they got this turquoise alert because they used that turquoise alert. Now, Emily Jane says they found her. Yes, they found her. Well, who they found too? We're talking about a little 8-year-old that they found, and also Emily Pike. Her dismembered body was found in trash bags. Don't worry if you just rolled in, Emily. Please stay. We're just getting warmed up. All right. We're just getting warmed up. I don't even know how I used to do my episodes in an hour and a half. I can probably do an hour and a half if I just stop right now, but I'm just not done.
Similar to the Amber Alert, it'll directly help missing and endangered persons, including missing indigenous peoples.
There's still a lot of Native families, so we don't really know how that works. I've had Native families reach out to me that have said, how do I get a turquoise alert for my relative?
Pike's death and other cases have prompted calls for change, including closer scrutiny at the Department of Child Safety. For many here, more needs.
You think, why did they even put the child safety in? Why did child safety put her into a sacred, what's it called? Sacred Heart group home? That was bad. If you look that up, they have many violations on them, guys. I can't understand why they took her out of a shitty situation and put her into something even worse. All right. Again, if you go back to my playlist, you'll find out they did not name, guys. They did not name the second person. They only tell us that because she's a minor, they can't say her name. I can't find it, but there's another girl in parallel with Emily Pike at the same group home that also went missing and hasn't been found. All right. Malika Boone, sadly, is gone. All right, let's continue. All right, that was a year later. And now we go to, well, today or yesterday. This is what got me started. I'm so glad that I picked this case back up because, you know, I do so many cases. Sometimes I just, frankly, I just forget about, oh yeah, there's an update. There's so many of them, guys. I feel like I'm doing updates now. I'm taking so many new cases and doing updates that I need more days in the week. All right, guys, welcome in. Emily Jane said, just send you an email. Another case, adopted parents starved a 3-year-old, too many kids every day. Thank you. You always send me the ones that I'm already looking at. I haven't seen that yet, but I will take a look. Hold on. Let me pop that up while I do this. All right, here we go. This is what got me started. And I'm so glad that this got international attention in the way that it did. What's up, the Jab? You're pretty quiet tonight. Karen, how you doing? Saucy Skins, you guys hit that like button. Get yourself a membership. All right, let's go.
Of a beautiful little girl, just 14 years old.
Now, this came out yesterday. Nancy Grace has been covering this. Also, the Interview Room was heavily covering this case, and they did so much work. I got to give them a big shout out. Most of our races are extremely poor. Well, you see that. Not only are they poor, past perfect Pam, but there's a ton of drug and alcohol use. Not only that, but they freely sleep with who they want to as well. It's a very free kind of situation. True Crime 420, good evening to you. Good to see you. Yep, there it is right there. Boom, bang, boom, bang. That's it.
Right. Found dismembered off US 60.
Now, this just came out yesterday, guys.
That little girl identified as missing Emily Pike. In the last hours, chilling details emerge as we learn the COD, cause of death. A 14-year-old girl is dead.
All right, you guys make sure that you got your membership gifting on because I'm going to gift a membership. You guys know the drill. All right, drop a comment, hit the like. We want to get this in the algorithm. Hype if you can. I'm going to give out a membership to hopefully someone gets it that's in here today. All right, let's continue. Anyone wants to match? That would be awesome too.
And dismembered. I want justice. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us.
I really hope I'll try to see if he can come visit me next time.
So cute.
Not recovered any kind of weapon.
She's so cute.
Crash.
You guys.
4 in 5 Indigenous women have experienced violence in their lifetime.
Emily Pike found dismembered. How has this dragged on this long? A 14-year-old girl murdered and dismembered, thrown on the side of the road like she's trashed. I'm not.
She was so cute and she talked so. I'm sure she was a tough little girl, but I mean, I just can't. Like, I can't fathom how somebody can hurt these children in the way that they do and leave her body in the way that they did. It's so disrespectful. And I bet you it was somebody that was in that community as well. When I say community, I mean like the Navajo community. All right. I know, but we need justice for Emily Pike and we need to find her killer. Her killer is still out on a loose, guys.
Not having it.
To say that I miss you so much, and I really hope I'll try to see if he can come visit me next time.
We've not recovered any kind of weapon. Cause of death is still under investigation by the ME's office. We're investigating those leads. None of those, as of yet, have pointed us to a definite suspect or person of interest. With Emily, of course, we believe that she was killed somewhere else, and then that is where she was dropped off.
What do I need to do to put a fire under their tail? That from our friends at CBS 5, and we do, as of tonight, know the cause of death on this little girl. Straight out to investigative reporter Susan Hendricks joining us. Susan, what do we know?
All right, now this is why I wanted to come on. I saw Nancy Grace covering it, and I was like, oh, we know more? I've been waiting forever to hear anything about it, right? I didn't even know if we were going to get a complete autopsy or which body parts they had. All right, that little girl, again, trigger warning, guys, because it gets real. All right, I know it makes me angry, but we need to say a prayer that Emily Pike gets the justice she deserves, and that she continues to shine that spotlight on the others that need the attention. Maybe if she just saves one life, it will be worth it, but hopefully more.
About the death and dismemberment of this little girl, Emily Pike.
It is devastating, to say the least. It's been more than a year, Nancy, just 14 years old. Her body dismembered, found on the side of a road in construction like garbage bags. And get this, the way the family was notified, it was allegedly accidentally leaked.
Yes, I couldn't wait to tell you that. I was waiting to get to this episode to tell you that it got leaked. Her family didn't know that she was brutally, you know what, everything was taken from her, including her hands and her arms. They found out on TV. I know, Deb. But you know what? She's covering the hard stuff.
On Facebook by the sheriff's department. And now they say they're working on it. There is outrage, but does that mean the sheriff's department is doing anything? And if so, what?
Isn't it true, Susan Hendricks? I would like to see, Susan, that the arms and the hands of this little girl have not been found.
It's just unthinkable. They haven't been found, and there's little confidence that they will be found because the sheriff's office isn't saying much. And are they acting on much? Are they looking at this as a cold case? Are they just disregarding it? It's just
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the FBI probably has more stake in this case than law enforcement. It's really weird how that works. And also, this is happening all the time. I was only looking at Arizona news because we were looking at Nancy Guthrie. And then I started seeing all of this and the problem that they have with trafficking indigenous women and children. It's not men that get affected. It's the women and the children. Hello, Marianne. I hope I said your name right. Welcome in. All right. She's so cute.
Heart goes out to the family, and you're right. Where are
Why?
her hands?
Why, Susan Hendricks? Is it because she is a Native American? Is that why? Joining me, an all-star panel. But I want to go to a very special guest joining us tonight. It's Allred Pike Jr. This is Emily's paternal uncle. Mr. Pike, thank you for being with us. Is it true that you learned information about Emily, just 14 years old?
And this is the uncle that you're going to see present most of the time. I really do hope this is not one of the uncles that took advantage of her. Not like we're ever going to know. But anyhow, thank you for being here. Hit the like button. Somebody just got a membership. Let me know if you did. Yeah, the way they believe it's so disrespectful to not have all of her. And I agree. I absolutely believe that that person knew that. And they took her hands and her arms to disrespect her because of how she fought back. All right, in my opinion. All right, again, guys, trigger warning. And if you came in late, it's all good. It's all laid out for you. We got your back in chat. And if you got a question, ask me.
Murder through a unintentionally leaked post online?
Yes, that's how we found out.
Damn, man.
What happened?
I got a call from my sister saying that there was information through social media that our niece may have passed away. And that was the saddest way to find out.
I want to go to John Bueller. You know him well. He was already famous within his ranks for being an incredible detective in homicide. But the world found out who John Bueller was during the Scott Peterson double murder trial. Bueller, former detective.
Thank you so much, Kel, for sending me that. We now know who the second child is. And I also have the Evite, guys. So I know who the second child is. Thank you to Kel. the other missing girl in the group home. There's another girl missing from there, and that's where she lived before Emily Pike lived there. Same thing happened to her. Thank you. I'm going to share that with you, and then also at the end of the episode, I'm going to share the party at the Bellagio for guilty of crime. I'm going to send you the evite so you guys can tell me if you're going, so we can plan for everything. Okay. So stay here, guys. Hit that like button. Hopefully you got a membership. All right. Let me remove this for just a second. And then I want to show you the little girl in parallel at the same group home. I can't understand why they put her in that group home. It was already marked badly, bad marks on it. Things were happening.
At 10, as the investigation into the murder of 14-year-old Emily Pike continues, we're uncovering more about the Mesa group home where she was living before she was killed.
Hey.
Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us for 12 News at 10. I'm Kariba Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. Thanks for joining us. Emily Pike went missing from the home in late January. And tonight, we're learning another teen from that same group home has been missing now for nearly a year.
12 News journalist Bianca Bono is joining us live from the newsroom to explain. Bianca?
Well, shortly after Pike's remains were found, we learned from Mesa police that they had taken 30 missing persons reports stemming from that same group home over the past 3 years.
All right, this is huge. I hope you guys are here and you're listening. 30, and I did this on my last episode when I did the 2 hours or whatever, so thank you Kel for sending me that. We're talking now about the group home, specifically that Emily Pike was found unalived from, where she lived. And thank you Jules to Callie, gifted 5 memberships. That's very generous of you. Thank you. Okay, this is the group home. Listen to this, guys.
Missing persons reports stemming from that same group home over the past 3 years. So we asked if any of those cases remain open today, and we learned that one does. According to the Mesa Police Department, another teenage girl is missing from the same group home where Emily Pike was living before she was murdered and has been missing for close to a year. Emily Pike was last seen in January in the area of McKellips Road and Mesa Drive after leaving the group home. And on Valentine's Day, the 14-year-old girl's remains were discovered.
Now, I want you to realize that law enforcement has gone as far as to have DNA and to have had search warrants for a specific person or persons, and nothing has been done yet with it. We didn't hear who it was. We didn't get cleared. I mean, it could be someone that's connected, someone that, like I said, there's trafficking happening too. Yeah, 30, Mom, 30. Let's continue.
In trash bags, an hour and a half away in a remote area near Globe. After Pike's horrific death, Mesa police confirmed over the past 3 years, they've taken 30 missing persons reports involving residents of that same group home, and one of those residents remains missing to this day. 17-year-old Veronica Cruz was last seen on May 18th last year around 4:55 p.m., reported missing by group home staff. Her photo and information featured on the national set.
And you notice how fast they are to report them, right? I'm sure they report them as fast as they can so they can keep that check rolling on in. I'm telling you, a group home for profit, there's some shady dealings going on there, in my opinion. They're being sued. Jade, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Good morning. It's evening here and afternoon and night other places. It's 5:30 here, 8:30 Eastern. I don't know where you are, but it's the morning time. You're in the future. What's up, Angie? Told y'all 30. Yes, you were right. All right, let's continue.
Center for Missing and Exploited Children's website. But despite that, when 12 News reached the group home CEO for comment about Cruz's whereabouts, she said she believes Cruz is safe, though she does not know who Cruz is with or where she is. She added that Cruz turns 18 next month. When 12 News followed up with Mesa police.
You think she was trafficked, guys? Bree, I'm sorry I missed that. I usually go back. Thank you, mods, for letting me know. Bree just gifted 5 guilty of crime memberships, and then Jules followed. 10. We're raining green today, guys. Come on in. I knew you were in Australia. She's in the future, guys. Can you tell me my lotto numbers, please? Oh, who's leaving us? Don't leave us. Who's leaving? Let's go. We're not even done here.
Asking about the CEO's statement, a police spokesperson said an investigator needs to physically see that Cruz is okay before changing any case status. And due to her age, which is still 17, she would have to be taken to her guardian and not just released. Mesa Police encourages anyone with information about her whereabouts to call them and let them know. And I did follow up with the group home CEO asking if any efforts are being made to get Cruz back into the care of either the home or a guardian. She has not responded to that question. DCS has opened a licensing inquiry to...
I'm telling you, they've got some issues with them. In the last episode, I probably spent 45 minutes talking about the wrongdoings of that group home. Now, a gold alert, guys, is a public notification issued when there's a vulnerable adult that goes missing. So typically, guys, somebody with cognitive impairment, disability, medical condition, or a mental health crisis. But it is an adult of 18 and over that has cognitive impairment, Alzheimer's, dementia, development disability, traumatic brain injury, things like that. All right. If you want to know more about it, let me know. But it differs from the others because the Amber Alert is for children, where the Gold Alert is something different, right? For how it differs from other alerts, Amber Alert is used to abducted children and evidence of abduction plus danger. Silver Alert is for missing seniors with cognitive impairment or medical risk. And then the Gold Alert is just missing vulnerable adults with all three: cognitive, mental disability, or wants to take their own life, right? I'm not sure why, but there you go. All right, let's continue. Hopefully that's helpful. Class is not dismissed yet.
Determine whether appropriate steps were taken by that group home in Emily Pike's case. Now back to the Pike investigation. A task force has now been created consisting of local and federal law enforcement agencies that are investigating her death. They've also now set up a centralized tip line, which you can find on our website, 12news.com. Bianca Bono, 12.
All right, guys, let's continue. Thank you, Kel, again for sending that. I did a lot of research on the group home initially because I was like, where is she running to? And why is she running so much? Why did she run 4 separate times? All right. Why? What is she running from? Well, I think we know.
Modesto PD, 31 years in robbery homicide. You know what, John? I want to introduce you over the airways to Mr. Allred Pike Jr. This is Emily's paternal uncle. I can still remember, like it was yesterday, the moment I was told my fiance was dead. It didn't dawn on me he could have been murdered, but I remember exactly. Are you ever not shocked anymore? Are you to the point where you're like, it happens? Because I am not. First of all, for this to happen to this little girl, and seemingly.
So that's for autism. The lavender alert is somebody that has autism, a missing person with a developmental disability, someone on the autism spectrum specifically. It's very similar to the amber or silver alert, but it's specifically tailored to neurodivergent individuals who may not respond to typical search methods. All right. Hopefully that helps. Amber Day's in the house. Shout out to her. She's in the future as well. Let's get back to Emily Pike.
Nobody cares. Her arms and hands missing, and the family finds out through a leaked post. Does that still burn you up, or are you just like completely numb at this point, John?
I'm not numb to it. When you hear it, it strikes, but it's when you see the photographs of this young girl that it really becomes haunting. And then to see how there was some goof up on the part there at their office where they leaked that information, probably unintentionally, but somebody did that. And you know, you can't let that stuff happen. But
Bueller. Unintentional. Fine. Unintentional.
Whenever she says Bueller, it reminds me of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Bueller, wake up, Bueller. The rest of the family we see periodically for vigils and memorials. That's it. That's all. They all lived on the reservation, Deborah, and one of her uncles was SAing her. Because he SA'd her on the reservation, they moved her to that Sacred Heart group home where I believe it got even worse. All right. Aussie.
An accident. What's worse, really? Someone so incompetent that they have an accident like that like slices the soul of the family. They're that incompetent, or
Well, that's definitely
some
incompetent. And the thing
Machiavellian
is,
motive
it
that they
comes back
did
to
it
the
on
family.
purpose for pizza. I don't know which is worse, Bueller.
Yeah, and it strikes for the family because it puts them in a position where they're going to lose confidence in the sheriff's office and whoever else is involved in assisting in this investigation. It's a terrible way to go about it, but other mistakes were made.
Yeah, you should pay attention to the pictures while they're talking. There's a lot of pictures, and it gives you an idea of the family dynamic. All right, and they did talk about the dad being in prison earlier and the mom being hooked on D-rugs, which is typical. It's pretty typical on a reservation for them to be doing that and drinking alcohol quite a bit. All right, quite a bit. It's not out of the realm. Thank you, Wyatt. Good to see you, buddy.
Too, and things that we can talk about.
I don't like the way you said that. Just warning right now. Other mistakes we made. You just like it trilled off your tongue. Mistakes, my rear end. This has been months and months and months since Emily went missing and was found murdered. Back to Allred Pike Jr., Emily's...
I'm looking at it, Wyatt, and I'm not sure why it would say that then. I looked up lavender alert, and it literally says the lavender alerts are issued for a missing person with developmental or cognitive disability. All right. And it exists because of the sensory overload, and it goes into how it works. It goes, so, but I'm not sure what the purple alert, that they did not say it's only for autism. You missed part of what I said. Autism can be part of it, but it's neurodivergent or cognitive disability or somebody that's nonverbal. I assure you, Wyatt. All right. I can look up the purple one, and the purple alert may be specifically, this is not specifically for autistic people. That is not what I said. So I'll look that up and I'll give you the meaning, but that's not that. You must have missed something.
Cool. Mr. Pike, did you believe it at first when you heard about this post, this online post, or did you think it was just BS? Like, it's a prank. That's a horrible prank. What did you think?
Coming from social media, I asked my sister, are you sure it's our niece? Because half the time, most of the stuff on social media are not true. But she told me that it was pretty much verified it was her, and I was confused. Why did it come from social media and not from law enforcement?
All this little girl.
She's so cute, guys. And listen, why I appreciate you coming in here with your knowledge. I definitely want to say thank you. I'm looking at the differences, and I just don't want people being confused. There is a purple alert and there is a lavender alert. The lavender alert is specifically when a person with autism or developmental disability. Now, when you get into the purple alert, that is issued when a person with a cognitive disability or intellectual disability, Down syndrome, traumatic brain injury, why it exists to fill the gaps between silver and amber alerts. Now, if you were to sit there and compare the lavender alert and the purple alert, there's stark differences, okay? So the primary population of lavender is autistic and developmental disabilities, where purple is cognitive or intellectual disabilities. Age range for lavender is children or adults. For purple, it's mostly adults, but can be older teens. Lavender alert is a sensory overload, nonverbal, hiding or nonverbal of a key factor. Purple is impaired judgment, wandering, or a medical vulnerability. Now, I'm going to give you lavender against purple again. Lavender is autism specific search response, where purple is broader, vulnerable adult safety net. Again, last but not least, lavender versus purple. It's limited and local, the lavender one. The purple is Florida official, and others are considering it. Does that make sense? Okay, I hope it makes sense. Thank you. Makes sense to me. Let's continue with our show.
Girl Emily Pike wanted was to go home to her mom, to her grandma, and her little cat, Millie. But she didn't get her wish. The Apache teen girl spent the last 2 years of her life in and out of group homes, She hated it so much that at one point, this little girl who wanted so desperately to go home tried to hang herself rather than stay in a group home.
Damn.
Home was made up of multiple people.
Silver alert is for older adults, my friends, all right, with dementia and things like that. Think about when you get older, your hair turns white or silver, the silver alert. And why it is different, because they say lavender is only local. They only use that for certain local states, where purple is specific to Florida and they're considering it in other states. So yeah, you learn something new every day. And if you guys might want to take a test at the end of this, now that I'm throwing some extra stuff in there for you. Yes, justice for Emily Pike. There she is.
An extended family. How in the world did this little girl, who had lived through so much already, end up dead on the side of the road?
Spring break.
And why? Do we have no leads? Nothing. Straight out to a name you know well, Dr. Kendall Crowns, Chief Medical Examiner.
Now, we do have something, but we got to wait until the end. There is a person of interest that's an older man that they're looking at. They have collected DNA and such, but they haven't released that information. Kawasaki, what is up? Cynthia, this is missing teen Emily Pike. She's an indigenous, missing an indigenous children, women. She was found dismembered in trash bags, and we don't know who the killer is. They're still out on the loose.
Tarrant County. He is a star of a hit podcast, Mayhem in the Morgue, which, by the way, Dr. Crowns, I love. I always learn something, and you tell all of your medical findings in an anecdote, a story, a true story.
Or what?
That I can understand. He is the esteemed lecturer at the Burnett School of Medicine at TCU. Dr. Kendall Crowns, what do you make of the recent news that we're just learning that the COD, cause of death?
Yeah, guys, it goes state to state. I mean, we would sit here all day if you want me to tell you each state. Specifically, a silver alerts for 65 and older, where turquoise alert is 65 and younger. But they're also giving me that specific to my location in San Jose. That could be different in another city, another state, another whatever. But you guys understand the gist of it. There's silver, there's gold, there's purple, there's lavender, and more. All right. We can do a whole episode on what the alerts are.
On this little girl was homicidal violence, bludgeoning. I mean, I'm going to have to go to shrink on this after you, Dr. Kendall Crowns. To bludgeon a little girl dead and then dismember her and throw her on the side of the road in a trash bag like she's trash. I mean, what other indignity could be done to this child? And no answers, no answers. I'm happy. Let's see the mural. I'm happy they put up a mural because it will remind people that Emily Pike's case is not solved. I'm happy
it's not
that they care. But I want answers. This is not justice, Dr. Crowns. Tell me your analysis of the recently discovered COD cause of death.
And that's why I believe we're back here, is because the cause of death just came out. I hadn't seen any movement in this case. I think I saw the 1 year. Now, this happened, her body was found February 14th on Valentine's Day of 2025. So this year obviously was year one of her being gone and her body being found. And now they're looking for the person that committed the crime or crimes. There's several other people out there missing or not alive, and they don't know, has it been solved? Arizona's a crazy place.
So with the cause of death of homicidal violence with blunt head trauma, it's saying that she's had her head smashed, possibly skull fractures, beaten, et cetera, about the head. But the homicidal violence part is because of the dismemberment and the fact that they don't have the complete body, they can't rule out other forms of violence like sharp force violence, even gunshot injury, because with an incomplete body, you don't have all the answers. But they know that she was murdered and there is a blunt force component to it. But they're adding on the homicidal violence because of the dismemberment, because of the incomplete body. Who knows what else could have been done? There could be cut marks all over the arms.
Yeah, we
the
have no
hands could have
idea.
been chopped off purposely before she was dead.
Oh, I think so, guys. I absolutely think they did that to not only conceal their DNA, because she probably scratched the hell out of that person and fought with them, and maybe he was hitting her arms and fighting back, but just the pure disrespect. It's disrespectful to do that. Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's recently a video that came out. I don't know if you guys saw it. I can't even remember what state it's in. Somebody's trail cam caught a guy in their backyard on the trail cam running around with an axe, and he was covered in blood. What is even happening? This guy could have just literally did that to anybody. And did anyone see that? This guy's running around with the axe. It's covered in blood. His outfit's covered in blood, and he's out there in the dark of the night on the trail cam. What is happening? What is going on?
She could have been shot in the arms. Who knows? So that's why you've gotten this kind of vague homicidal violence with the blunt head trauma.
Okay, hold on just a moment. I need to analyze what you just said, Dr. Kendall Crowns. Since this child, and to Mr. Pike, I'm sorry to discuss the facts so bluntly, but this is the nature of a homicide investigation.
What the hell?
Dr. Kendall Crowns, the body's been dismembered. So how do we know homicidal violence? Is it based on her upper torso and head? How do we know homicidal violence? How did the medical examiner come up with that? You've done it many times. How'd you do it?
So homicidal violence is basically they're saying they're unsure of what else could have been inflicted, but they know that it's violence done intentionally to the individual. The fact that she's been dismembered and you don't have all the body parts, they can't rule out something else having happened to the body as well. Like I said, there could be gunshot wounds, there could be stab wounds of the arms that they haven't been able to determine yet because they don't have those findings.
And I bet you they won't ever find them. And I hate to say that, but I'm just saying statistically, yeah, they're not. They probably won't.
When a body is dismembered, if the individual is still alive, you will see changes in the skin and the muscle with hemorrhages that you can note. And then you know they were dismembered while alive. If they're dismembered after death, the actual dismembered body parts have kind of a dried, tan look to the areas of dismemberment. So you can get an idea of whether the injuries happened with living or with death.
Wow.
But again, homicidal violence is kind of a catch-all term when they're unsure of what else may have been inflicted.
Being unsure is because it was so, again, you got to remember there was these two separate bags with different parts in it out in the freaking heat. All right. Out in the heat. We don't know how long it was there for. It was out in the desert, found in February. Rhonda, welcome. Very unsettling how much Gabby Petito and Nancy get and these children. Nothing. Everyone deserves. Exactly. And that's what we're doing here. Rhonda, that's why we're covering this case. And I have a playlist of this case and many others because you can't, everybody's following one or two cases right now and they're forgetting about this case. All right. Or other cases.
I want to go back to Mr. Allred Pike Jr. This is Emily's uncle. Her death and dismemberment, to me, is horrific enough, Mr. Pike. But isn't it true that while living at home, she was saved by a male relative? She's only 14 at the time of her death.
She was essayed, guys.
So I don't know her age when that happened to her. That's on a little girl. And as a result of that, she was taken out of the home while the alleged assaulter got to stay home.
Exactly. That is where my major problem is. Why is it that they moved her out of her home, away from her grandma, away from even her mom was there or not, away from her people, away from her family, because she was assaulted by some man on the reservation in the tribe? What? What even is that?
Oh, did that happen?
Those were the allegations. That's why she was removed from the home.
What?
And the justice system was backwards. She was the victim, but yet she was removed from the home and she never came home. She was out there for over 2 years.
Because a lot of people think Susan Hendricks, guys, let me properly introduce my colleague from way back at CNN's HLM. Susan Hendricks is joining us, investigative journalist. She is also the author of a hit book, Down the Hill, My Descent into the Double Murder in Delphi.
Oh, Delphi.
And that's referring to the murders of two other little girls. That would be Abby and Libby in Delphi. Remember the little girls taken off the trestle bridge?
Yeah, we're at that situation again with the bridge guy, right? Richard Allen, the bridge guy. And now we're with the Nancy Guthrie case where everyone's trying to find the masked criminal at the door, right? They need to do something fast.
And murdered by Richard Allen, the local pharmacy tech. Right, that.
You guys are
Susan
crazy.
Hendricks, let me understand what I'm hearing. Because when I look at my little girl or my little boy, John David and Lucy, sometimes they're just so precious to me, I just want to cry. Just to look at them breaks my heart. This little girl, at least 12, if not younger, her, assaulted by a male relative on the Apache reservation. Nothing happened to the perp. So the perp's still living near the home compound, and she gets removed from the home.
And they're not even naming him. Now, you got to remember that they govern and they police their own reservation. Now, outside FBI, etc., would come in if there was something big, but typically they don't. Yeah, justice for Emily Pike. Thank you.
And put in a group home, which she hates. She wants to go home to her mother, her grandmother, her little bitty kitty cat. But no. A lot of people think Emily Pike was somehow disobedient, was a juvenile delinquent. Not that that would matter because she was murdered, but that is not what happened. She was assaulted. I don't know the details because they're buried deep within the reservation archives.
Again, guys, I have to tell you that I have to believe that there's a connection with that reservation and the group home and a money exchange. There's got to be, because there's some fraudulent activity. And why are they keep sending them there? How are 30 people? There are 30 people, guys, that went missing from that group home. That's not peculiar. Thank you, Clark. I appreciate you.
But I do know she was sex assaulted. And she somehow is the one that gets punished. Isn't that true?
It is.
It is backwards what her uncle said, and my heart goes out to you, Allred, and he can speak to this. She's very close to her cousins. They call themselves the trio. She loves Sparkle. She was a young girl, just 14 years old, wanted to be there with her mom. And she gets in trouble. She gets thrown out of the house. She was a loving 14-year-old. And wanted to be there. There's body cam footage, Nancy, that I watched yesterday where she says, I don't want to go back.
Again, trigger warning, because this one has it all the way up until where the officer says he's going to put handcuffs on her if she wants to act up. All right, let's continue. Trigger warning, guys. We're getting through it. Class will be dismissed in a while. Hit that like button.
I want my mom. And my heart broke for that. For her.
You are seeing body cam footage right now, and I want you to hear it. Remember, this is all because she was assaulted. Listen.
Emily.
Stop.
Come with me, okay?
No, I don't want to go back.
I know. Let's talk, okay?
No.
It's okay. Hey.
No.
Hey, it's okay. You're not in trouble, okay? Hey. I can't let you go, okay?
God, I just want to see my mom.
Come here. We'll call your mom, okay?
No.
It's okay.
They're being sued right now by the father of Emily Pike, which is kind of a slap in the face when he wasn't there for her. She was alive, but now he's there to sue. Go figure. Yes, it's still in operation. Terrible.
No, they won't let me talk.
It's okay. Come on. I will call your mom for you, okay?
No.
It's okay.
I don't like that. Please.
Hey, Emily. Listen, I'm here to help you, okay?
No one's helping me.
Well, you gotta. Well, that's not gonna help things either.
Help me.
If you're gonna act like a child, we're gonna put you in handcuffs.
Stop it.
I really don't want to put you in handcuffs, young lady, okay?
I just want to go home.
I know.
She is a child. What is wrong with these people?
See, even Nancy Grace says that. It's not their job to do that, but it's their right as a human. We have human basic rights, and he's a human. I don't care if that's not in his description to say, why do you keep running away? What are you running from? Okay, just chill out. I know, he knows the situation with her. He knows why she was put in the group home. She's ran away 3 other times. This is the 4th. What is he doing? I can't comprehend. Muffin, everyone listening while driving. All right, let's continue.
John Bueller.
Well, you run into these situations with people, and not everybody's trained well enough, and they don't always have the patience to deal with them properly. But the system definitely failed this little girl. I echo what you said about how she was removed from the house. Why should she be removed? It seemed like the offender should have been taken out of there. Purely a victim, multiple times, ignored, tossed aside, and just not given what she needed to have a good life. Disposable young children, it breaks your heart every single time. And there's just so many of them. This one's a highlight because she's so pretty and she's so young, but there's so many more like that. And those are the things that haunt you even after you retire in this job.
Average over 5,000 Native American women go missing in the U.S., and nobody seems to care. Now
you got to remember, too, people do care. We try to all care. We can't do anything. We cannot make change on the reservation unless we're part of that reservation. And I don't know how to help the bigger picture. I don't think that they should be governing and policing themselves. Just my opinion. I feel like there's got to be some kind of system or alert or something that is in place. I just can't. True crime. Did you fall asleep, girl? Kathy, wake up.
What do you mean? In addition to Mr. Pike, Allred Pike Jr. speaking out on behalf of his niece, Emily, Mary Kim Titla. She is the executive director of Unity, which is United National Indian Tribal Youth, Inc. Mary Kim, I really don't know how you do it. I don't know how I do it. I don't know how I did it for over a decade. Every single day, seeing the worst, I managed to get through and still get through because I care about the victims and feel this is all we can do for them at this juncture. What do you make of what has happened to Emily Pike? And still no answers. It's just been one.
It's like almost like Nancy wants to cry when she's so passionate about this case. And when I saw that, I said, we have to update this case. Again, we found the body. It's been dismembered. All of it's not there. It's roughly 100 miles away from where she was. And that body cam footage that you saw was the last footage. All right. The last footage. What are we deleting? What happened here? All right, let's continue.
Debacle after the next.
It's heart-wrenching to watch the videos, to see the photos, to be reminded of what happened to this precious little girl.
Did they love?
She has become everyone's daughter, granddaughter, niece. And in Indian country, I represent a segment of the population that is, the horrible statistics involve Native women and girls who go missing every year and are found murdered. We have so many that are still missing. So justice has not been served in this case. We have to work together. We are searching for answers. There has been more awareness. We have the turquoise alert. So there have been some positive steps that have happened.
And we do got to say that we're grateful for Emily Pike to, in the name of justice, at least she's helping other people. She's helping other people with the turquoise alert and changing the laws, and people are opening their eyes up. And that group home is being sued, which means that they're going to be dug into, guys. Their money's going to be dug into at some point. The system of how they're bringing people in, where people are going, how many people went missing, all of that is going to be looked into. And I hope that they do a good job. I hope they don't just brush it off.
But we have a lot of work to do to prevent this from happening again. My heart breaks and continues to break every time I go home because I pass the billboards that are publicizing the reward. There's reminders with the mural that you saw. She is never far from our minds. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. I fear for The fact that the murderer or murderers are still on the
Out
loose,
there, guys.
we want justice, and we have to work together to make that happen.
And do you guys think that this type of crime happens because of the situation of them governing and policing themselves, that nobody's really looking or paying attention? What do you think? Because we know that with, we know that with prostitutes. I don't even know what we call them, sex workers nowadays or what. But typically men will do that with them because they realize, nobody's really going to report them missing. And if they do, they're going to just think that they ran off and did, they're on some bender. Clementine, good to see you. All right.
Emily kept running away from one group home after the next, trying to get back to her own family.
That's
the
crazy.
last time Emily didn't make it after running away from the group home, her body, not even a body, remains. She was dismembered, were found Valentine's Day, stuffed in 2 trash bags and thrown onto a patch of dirt on a lonely, lonely desert highway in the Tonto National Forest, 5 miles from the boundary line of the reservation.
Oh, shit.
Emily.
Stop.
Come with me, okay?
No, I don't want to.
See, I'm wondering, guys, I'm really wondering if it's somebody on the reservation that are making these children disappear. It's easy picking. They know who's there. They've got the availability to oversee who goes, who comes, how they go. All right. That's the fact that she was 100 miles away from her group home, but 5 miles away from the reservation that she wanted to go back to. That says something. All right. Debbie, good to see you. I've 27 years of teaching on a reservation. I've been, if they're not willing to make the uncle leave, then she had to leave. That's just, it's backwards. All right. And trigger warning.
I know. Let's talk, okay?
No.
It's okay. Hey.
Mom.
Hey, it's okay. You're not in trouble, okay? Hey. I can't let you go, okay?
Get off. I just want to see my mom.
Come here. We'll call your mom, okay?
No.
It's okay.
No,
Come on.
they won't let me talk.
It's okay. Come on. I will call your mom for you, okay?
No.
It's okay. Hey, Emily, listen, I'm here to help you, okay?
No one's helping me.
Well, you gotta. Well, that's not gonna help things
No
either.
one's gonna help me.
If you're gonna act like a child, we're gonna put you in handcuffs.
Stop it.
I really don't want to put you in
go.
handcuffs, young lady, okay?
I just want to go.
So many people are struggling.
He didn't even ask her a question about why. He could have de-escalated that situation where he didn't have to do that. I can't understand.
Now we've got some body parts in a bag. How come her mother wasn't told about this for 1 month? What is going on here?
It's hard to hear exactly what happened to her.
Emily Pike, just 14 years old at the time of her death, had been assaulted on the Indian reservation. After that, she is removed from the family home. The perp stayed there, and she's put in one group home after the next. Of course, she runs away trying to get back to mom. You saw the video of her begging and crying. Then she was put in handcuffs.
Hey, Moore, good to see you.
Now we have an official COD, cause of death, homicidal blunt trauma. Her arms and hands
possibility
have not been recovered. Back to Allred Pike Jr. This is Emily's paternal uncle. Mr. Pike, again, thank you for being with us tonight. Mr. Pike, does the mother and or the grandmother know the cause of death on Emily? Have they been told?
I'm sure they have.
Yes, they know the cause of death, and just can't. There's no words to describe how they're feeling.
Now, here's the thing. I'm gonna hope that that's not the uncle, but listen, do you hear what's happening in this situation? We have this uncle figure that's heading this PR campaign, so to speak. Where's the mom? Where's the grandma? Why aren't they talking? Why aren't they outreaching? Why are they doing that? Do you think that's what happened to her probably on the reservation? Is they weren't paying attention to her and she was just off doing whatever, and the uncle is not, I'm not saying that uncle, I'm saying any uncle, any man, any piece of garbage pedo that knows that the mom's off in La La Land doing drugs and the grandma, who knows what she's doing. Oh, nobody's paying attention to this little girl. Come on in. Come on in. Let's have some candy. Hang out. And then, boom, he takes advantage of her, grooms her, takes advantage of her, and then, bam, they just hand her off to a man. That's exactly what Jen Soto did as well. Jen Soto said, oh, there's a man that's willing to step in for me when I'm sleeping. Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Let's just hand her off. Debbie, you said the tribe pays for group homes. So if they went to a group home, the parents don't pay for it. Yeah, but they're getting it from the state. Medicare that doesn't pay for it. The tribe who pays her to be at the group home. Either way, it's money in, money out, money in, money out. All right, continue.
I'd like you to try.
I know it shattered them to know how she had passed away and what was done to her. I mean, even I was in shock. And you're right, the part of her body, parts have not been found. And it hurts to know that the people who did this haven't been caught.
In the last hours, the county medical examiner's office releases cause of death on little Emily, found dismembered in the woods after being reported missing from her group home in Mesa. She was found dead on Valentine's Day in the woods north of Globe. The full report yet to be released, but we do know blunt force trauma and homicidal violence. No arrests. No arrests. Allred Pike Jr., I'm curious, did the mom and the grandma try to get her out of the group home and put the assaulter behind bars? What happened with that? Why was she?
Good question. We're finally maybe going to get some answers. All right. Now, Sander, is there an officer or a tribal officer? I bet he feels terrible. Who knows? Who knows who even had the power? Who knows if the person that essayed her was the one that has the power and the money and and Marianne, please do what you need to. We'll see you next time. Yeah, this is a hard one. This is definitely triggering. And yeah, take care of your mental health. We will see you another day. All right. But this has to be put out there.
The one taken away from the home.
Thank you for being here.
That I'm not sure of. I believe my sisters had tried to take her in, but there were issues that it's just
that's so
they couldn't navigate through to get her to stay with them up in Utah or Denver.
To Mary Kim Titla joining us. She is the executive director of Unity, United National Indian Tribal Youth. I don't understand, again, and at this point, this is a side issue because the real issue is who murdered Emily Pike.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why the assaulter was allowed to stay at the family compound and Emily was the one forced out. And then the system was so difficult to navigate, mom couldn't get her back.
It doesn't make sense. And what I would like to address is something that was mentioned earlier, and that's confidence in law enforcement. It's shot. There is a lack of trust among Native Americans when it comes to law enforcement, and rightly so, because there are so many unsolved cases, the handling of crimes involving Native.
All right, real quick, I'm just going to take a quick side note break, guys. And again, say a prayer that Emily Pike gets the justice she deserves. And the fact that she's shining the light on others. All right, guys, I see you guys in chat. I see the back and the forths about the JLR case. Clark, I see you about that. What I do want you to know is if you're signed up for Guilty of Crime Ghost, go check that out. If you're a member of it, if you want the real factual information, we put it out there on Ghost so that you can factually see the information that's out there rather than me coming on this live episode and blasting a man that hasn't been tried yet. Okay. JLR has paperwork. He has things said about him. There's a lot of things going on. I am not going to cover that unless he gets convicted and it turns into an actual true crime case. So if you want to know about the facts and not hear about drama or I don't want to do that with creators. I particularly don't want to blast creators. You want the factual information? go over to Ghost and check it out over there. Otherwise, that you've got 200 other channels covering it. All right, thank you. Where's the tribal leader or elders in charge? Why didn't they? We don't know. We don't know any of that.
Of Americans, it's a sad reality. There have been so many unsolved cases, and the fact that she was removed from the home, it doesn't make sense one bit. It makes so many of us in the community very angry the way this was handled on so many levels. We have to have accountability. We have to make sure that there's oversight, and it does mean people working together. There is now a task force on the reservation. There is now a community group raising funds to put up these billboards to raise awareness. I'm glad that people are working together, but more must be done to prevent these things from happening. We have to know what it's going to take to keep our children safe, whether they're on the reservation.
And guys, times are moving fast. All right. Times are changing. Okay. Times are changing. Laws need to change with them. Nothing about this world in 2026 is even close to how it used to be when I'm 46 years old, when I was 9 years old. All right. It's not the same. And I can imagine how a lot of you feel as well. The laws are only changing now because of the crimes that are happening, right? Like I just saw an accident literally in front of my house, not in front, like here's my house, there's the side street. I couldn't get out of the door because there was a blue scooter all banged up with blood. Mom, by the way, I found the article in the San Jose paper, and that person died. They don't have laws on these scooters and motorbikes that they're selling. You notice everyone's riding those motor scooters that regenerate themselves, or the motorbikes. Well, there's no laws. Now, this doesn't have anything to do with crime per se, but that person died. And a direct result of that person dying is now they're looking into adding a law for those bikes. Why haven't they done that before? That happened with vapes as well. All right, with vapes, there was a huge question. I remember when they first came out, there was no regulations, so you could go and puff anywhere you wanted, and they couldn't say anything because there was no signs that said, don't smoke here, because no one even knew really what it was. All right, so just keep that in mind when you see cases like this and how things are moving forward and progressing, and we're going by old laws, etc. That's why. Because they need to change. Things need to change, and change doesn't come unless a bunch of people come together to make it happen. And that doesn't happen until something like this happens, unfortunately.
Are taken away. So we have to work together to make sure that this never happens again.
Well, I have one suggestion, and that would be to allow local law enforcement and the feds onto the reservation to help find missing people and solve unsolved homicides. 5,000 Native American women missing a year is unacceptable. But isn't it true, Mary Kim, that on Indian reservations, local law enforcement and the feds, neither one have any jurisdiction? They cannot come in and investigate a case. Isn't that true?
And this is where we're going to get the most information from about this, because I don't know reservation laws or rules. I don't know anybody on one. I've never worked at one. I have no idea. I did put the evite up for the Vegas crime crew party. It's going to be at the Bellagio, you guys, on Saturday, May 30th, starting at 6:30 p.m. So there's a link. I'll also go ahead and put it out there on Ghost and all the other things. All right, let's continue. This is a rough topic, I know. Let's go a little, wait. I didn't mean to go that much forward.
Lift these limitations so that we can solve these crimes. It is
exactly
unacceptable that there are so many unsolved crimes, and we don't want this to become a cold case. We are fighting very hard to make sure that Emily Pike's name and case stays in the forefront. But every day that slips away, it seems to get further and further away. And we don't want that to happen. So we have to keep raising our voices and making sure that law enforcement knows that this is, of high importance.
Now, do you see how she's fighting that officer? And now she's not really fighting him, right? She's not hitting him or doing any of that, but you see the struggle. He's grabbing her arm and she's moving and budging and whatever. I'm going to speculate that's what she did with the person that took her life, and it pissed him off and he wanted to show her. All right. She right. Cops can't. Yeah, I know. That's the whole point what we're talking about. And I bet you the people on the reservation are bringing people to the group home and so forth. Again, the money. All right. Let's continue.
We can't let this become a cold case.
That's true. It will become a cold case if we just stop looking at it, guys.
Feds, no jurisdiction at all. So what can we do? Okay. Not a DAMN thing. Nothing. And we're seeing this unfold in the Nancy Guthrie case, right? We see the feds, and I experienced it. I was a fed for 3 years before I became a felony prosecutor in inner city Atlanta. I know the feds have all of the resources. They have all of the technology that local law enforcement does not have. So this is an injustice to Emily Pike, and it just burns me up to hear her case is unsolved. And just the whole.
And again, they do have some DNA. There is a person of interest that's an older guy they haven't named, but I just can't understand why we're still sitting here after a year. Now, Jules Tecali too says, when I was 14, I got arrested on a reservation. The guy I was with had stolen the lady's car battery. I was driving and we got pulled over and taken to a tiny jail on the reservation. Well, Jules Tecali, I'm glad you're here to tell us what happened. All right. That's all I can say about that. I'm glad that you're here to tell that tale.
Package is a hot, stinking mess. The way she was taken out of the home when she is a assault victim, the perp allowed to stay, probably never brought to justice. And now this, the way she was treated, handcuffed, a little girl handcuffed like that. I mean, let me just throw it at you, Delatorre. I don't even know where to start.
Well, let's start with that police body cam that we saw. So we know that she was assaulted. Now, maybe the police didn't know, but it is absolutely awful the way that they manhandle her.
Hold on, Delatorre. That's why she got removed. She got removed. They did know.
They don't know that.
She was removed.
Responding officers don't know when they're interacting with her what actually has happened to her. But it is already awful that they're manhandling her the way that they are.
There you go.
She is trying to fight them off.
I'm telling you guys, this officer or these officers should be held accountable. They brought her into the car and back to the home. And that was it. That's the last time we've seen this little girl until the leaked body, the bags of the body that got leaked and then onto social media, to where her family had to find out she was not only missing, but found in trash bags thrown away. I'm telling you guys, this body cam is disturbing. You see how she's pulling and he's pulling. She's 14, dude. She's not going to do anything. Just talk to her for a second.
And so that already tells me something about how she is going to be interacting with adult men.
Yep.
She's fighting them off as best as she can, but they're still overpowering her. So we can absolutely start there.
Yep.
We can also start with, well, what can we do? Well, as citizens, we can put pressure on all of these organizations, including the reservation, including the tribe. We can put pressure on having them actually solve this case and the thousands of other cases that have gone unsolved. We can absolutely put pressure on them to take a look at members within the tribe. Most likely, they're probably being protected by the tribe, and the perpetrator of this offense is probably there on the reservation, which is probably why her hands are missing, because it contains a DNA of whoever assaulted her.
I hope you guys just heard that. We've been here for almost 2.5 hours, and this guy just summed up this whole case in one sentence. All right. Now, Allie Kelly, you know what's the weird thing about this? When I'm looking up the body cam, most of the places that put the body cam out cut off the last part where she's arguing with them back and forth. They only put the snippet of her being kind of like, I don't want to go, but they cut out the officer doing what he's doing to her in this. All right. I couldn't find it anywhere else. I kept looking. And I was like, yes, Nancy has all of it. All right, let's continue.
Emily is just one. I mean, this is one we're talking about, but there's so many other women. There are so many other victims that deserve to have their cases solved, and they're just not. And so we as citizens have to do it for them.
Dr. Delatorre, you just talked me off the ledge here, because everything you said is correct. And to throw your hands up in exasperation and frustration, that's not the answer. That will get me and Emily nowhere fast. Back to John Bueller, former detective Modesto P.
Bueller, wake up, Bueller. Sorry, every time she says Bueller, just cleanse the palate. Krista, now listen, they were black plastic bags, and her hands and her arms are completely missing. So to say that they have more DNA than hers, probably not. And the degradation of the decomp of the body and how it was in the environment 100 miles out in the desert, 5 miles from, I don't think so, man. I just don't. And I think that if there were DNA, it was the DNA from her doing this and fighting back like she is with the officer. All right. The officer could, and that's what Mary Vegas, thank you for saying that. I am not by any means a conspiracy theorist. No, I've never played this before. And this is the only, this is brand new. It came out yesterday. But I do have a playlist, Krista, called Emily Pike. And it goes into this case even deeper back when it started. All right. So if you want to go check out my playlist, go check out my playlist. It's called Emily Pike. All right. Yeah, I mean, I am not a conspiracy theorist by any means, but I see how things are done. I've been working in a company for 18 years, and I see how people move in government positions, in other positions. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. We do this deal, we'll keep you in the deal. Everyone else has a chance, but not really. All right? It's how it works. And her fighting back, if she fought back with that officer, you best believe that she was fighting the man. The perp, the DNA. Yeah, it's not that. It's just she had stuff missing. The perp that did that to her did it somewhere else, obviously, probably wore gloves, left certain body parts out in the desert. All right, 100 miles from where she was. I don't think that they have DNA on any of that. That so far, what we've been told is they did have some type of DNA that they ran through the system, but it doesn't match anything to this particular case, unfortunately. Now, this has been a year and a month. If they did have it, we would know.
Right now, we are trying to help solve the Emily Pike murder. And I don't want to spend the rest of our few moments together, our group tonight, rehashing what went wrong. But what do you make? I mean, is there any hope? What do we do now? The case is a year and a month old. We've got a task force formed between the locals and the tribe, and I believe the FBI is in on it. But I don't see really any advancement. They claim there may be a POI, maybe. At this juncture, I know you've worked.
A person of interest, guys. They do have DNA that they're evaluating, but that's as far as it goes. Now, at the very end, I'll bring up the Evite for you, but I assure you, the Evite's in chat. If you just click on it, you'll be able to see everything for yourself, and then I'll show you afterwards.
On plenty of cold cases, as have I, and it is not easy to resurrect a cold case. It's hard. What do you advise right now, Bueller?
Well, there's a couple of things that could be done in the future. And number one, you have to allow detectives to specialize in violent crimes so that they gain experience, they gain training, not just in the classroom, but being mentored by senior detectives that show them how to work the case. They should be allowed to gain that experience. And there's where your success rate comes when you're working a case like that. There were many cases I never would have solved if I wouldn't have been trained by the guy who trained me. And then over and above that, the one thing that strikes me that we're not talking about too much is the guy who did this probably has done it before. Now, maybe he hasn't murdered before, but he's probably a violent offender. Yep. He's went through the court system many.
And guys, it could be like someone said, again, I'm by by any means not a conspiracy theorist. I go by facts and I try to make assumptions of what may happen. And the person that said it could be one of the officers could be correct. It could be the security that they have hired at the reservation. Don't you find it odd that her body parts were found in black plastic bags 5 miles from the reservation where she was trying to go back to? Okay. She was 100 miles away in a group home. She was trying to get back to see her grandma and her mother, and she made it 5 miles away in 2 plastic bags with missing body parts. All right. Exactly. You just don't know, Mary. You don't.
Times, and they've just passed them along. When there's no accountability for the people that are making decisions about punishment, and I'm speaking specifically of judges, they have all the time in the world to make a decision on what they do. But violent offenders need to be kept behind bars because they can't function in society. And then you don't have victims like Emily in the future. But soft punishment is very violent to the victim twice, when they were victimized and then afterwards for their family. Those are things that just kind of pop into my head on the spur of the moment.
Her case manager friend came a week later to tell me that she was missing.
Mesa police report Emily Pike as missing to the National Crime Information Center the evening of January 27th.
Did you hear that 911 call? They're quick to call and say, hey, they're missing. You know why? Because they don't want that missing paycheck.
The same day, police got word of her disappearance. Her mother is not even informed of Emily leaving the group home until her 14-year-old daughter has been missing for a full week. Police say it is up to the group home to contact her case manager, who would then have contacted Pike's family or tribe.
American homeowners, the FBI.
Do you hear that? It's not their job. I mean, that's kind of earlier what people were alluding to with the cops. It's not their job. You know how many times I don't say that? How many times I step up and give a hand for something, anything? It's not my job to do any of this stuff. But as a human, basic human rights, human nature, human feelings, you want to help. I can't understand this case. It's disturbing. You say Dark Scale Creature says me and my family are registered under PA tribal citizen. You guys live on the reservation? Just curious. I know nothing about that.
100 missing American Indian and Alaska Native women and girls.
Why did Emily go missing? How did Emily go missing? I want to know who murdered Emily Pike, just 14 years old.
In a shocking turn of events, information about the remains of Emily Pike is leaked on Facebook, revealing gruesome details that were not intended for the public. The Gila County Sheriff's Office posts information that detectives found the head and torso in large contractor trash bags, and the legs were found in separate bags.
You hear that? The family didn't even know about that, and it got leaked along with the pictures, which correlates with the same thing that happened to Madeline Soto and that dumb sheriff that's now sitting in jail. Flojo TV, thank you so much for the $4.99 towards the goal. Please drop. I didn't have to say it. Thank you, Sint. Got my back. I appreciate you. All right, let's continue.
Detectives searched the area but failed to find the arms and hands.
The teen had visible face and head trauma. No identifying clothing, jewelry, or identification is found with the remains. The cause of death is still undetermined. Deputies say there's no indication that there is an active threat to the community.
Straight out to Susan Hendricks joining us, investigative journalist. Susan, isn't it true that, well, it's kind of obvious, but Emily was murdered at a primary crime scene where her remains were found is at least a secondary, if not tertiary crime scene. Isn't that true?
Yep.
Yeah, that is true. She was thrown out like trash, basically in the middle of nowhere. I think it's about an hour outside of Mesa, Arizona. And as we were just listening to that report, what do you mean that people aren't in immediate danger? They are in immediate danger. And these loopholes and the lack of communication, a lot of criminals, multiple people are benefiting from this. How do we know this guy's not a
No, God, yeah, we don't know that this guy's not a serial, you know what? And I'm looking back at my playlist to say, damn, we did know quite a bit. We just didn't know what we knew before. Hikers are the ones that actually found her body parts in the bags. And we want to know what led them to it, right? What led them to her body. So that's where they put that stone, right? Where she was last seen. And then after that, 14-year-old found dismembered. Why did police try to keep it a secret? They tried to keep it hush hush. And now we're on episode 3 of missing teen Emily Pike found dismembered in trash bags. Investigators zero in on new lead, which is what we're talking about right now. So I'm going to drop the link down there if you guys want to go back, and it's not as other episodes aren't as dark. They're more like when she went missing, how, about the facility, etc. So if you guys want to watch that, just go to my playlist. All right. Thank you.
Serial killer, and he's still out there. And like you said, Nancy, outrage doesn't equal justice. And it just makes you think, what can we do? What can law enforcement do?
Analyze this case, for starters, to Dr. Kendall Crowns. When a person, a human, is dismembered, it's almost impossible to get rid of any trace evidence. Explain.
Exactly. Here you go, Krista. Hopefully you're in the house. Now we're talking about the trace evidence that's hard to get rid of and what they found and why there isn't. Why isn't there DNA all over these bags where this man did this awful thing to Emily, right? There's got to be DNA everywhere. Let's continue.
When you're dismembering a body, depending especially on how you dismember it, sawing or cutting with implements, it's going to cause blood, bodily fluids, tissue to get everywhere. Wow. It's going to get on your clothing, on the furniture, it'll get on the floor. And then, of course, when you place it in trash bags, the trash bags aren't completely sealed. It'll leak out in the car or whatever vehicle you use to transport the bodies in or body. So anything that was involved in the portion of
That's what I learned from this episode today, and a few other things, bruv. They just not naming anybody, but I wish I can pull the paperwork for you. They absolutely do have DNA that they took and a description of a vehicle, but they haven't done anything. They ran some tests, kind of like the Nancy Guthrie case, and then bam. And that's what we're back here to put this out into the public. I am Two Bear. Good evening, my friend. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping by.
The case where there's dismemberment is going to have DNA evidence on it.
I am Two Bear.
No matter how good they clean it up, it'll still be able to be found.
If that evidence is still there this much time later, but as you just pointed out, it's really hard to clean away trace evidence from a dismemberment. There can be blood in every nook and cranny, every tiny hole in the floor, especially when you have, carpet, hardwood, linoleum, you name it. It's really hard to get every speck of blood out, but we've got to find that location. According to reports tonight, there may be one person of interest on the radar.
All right, here we go. So I had to wait for the whole episode. You guys know I have to do my research before I come on here. So I'm constantly, you guys probably laugh at me. Sander, I'm glad you're back. I know you had to take a break. I am not kidding with you when I say I wear one headphone in one ear that's going one case, and I kid you not, I shit you not. I have different pairs of headphones that I wear around, and one headphone is listening to one case and one headphone is listening to another case while I'm doing work. That's the only way I have time to do the research and put these things together. So I just want to let you guys know that I literally have to be listening to two things at the same time and working in order to bring you an episode. All right, Samantha, welcome.
It's speculative at this juncture, but according to one law enforcement official, Emily may have been kidnapped by an older man based in the area of Globe, Arizona.
Now, listen, an older man based in Globe, Arizona. There are also other cases in similar circumstances of a male that died that way. I wonder if it was the same guy. Thank you, Joanne. Kel does that too. I mean, we only have 24 hours in a day, and I only have 5 days a week. Ambidextrous. Yeah, I got one black headphone, one white headphone, and I'm typing, man. I work all day. I have to work all day, and I still have to research these cases for you guys. I can't just come on here and be like, what are we doing? Oh, I forgot. Sorry. Wait, what? Oh, the video's not playing. My bad. Hold on real quick. Can you give me some money? Give me some money. I need money. I'm not going to give you any content. Give me money. All right, thanks. See you later. Oh, I love talking shit sometimes. It's funny. Wow, that impressive, Jay. I'm way too ADHD for that. I do have ADHD, I think.
Someone they think she trusted. That's all we know now. After this many months, that's all we've got. Back to Allred Pike Jr., this is Emily's paternal uncle. What, if anything, is law enforcement telling you or Emily's mom?
On the dad side of the family, we don't really hear nothing from law enforcement. From the beginning to now, there's no real updates regarding my niece's case.
Did you email me?
John Bueller, former detective with SOPD. How can that be that the family is told nothing? I know this, but they don't. How can that be, John?
Well, to me, it shows a lack of experience, because generally you're going to have one detective that's going to make constant contact with the family and give them updates. And then that person in the family will.
You see? Thank you, FloJo. I'm glad I'm not. It's nice to have a community and not be the only one that does that. We literally have to work, right? I listen to streams 24/7 while working, but 2 streams at once, my ADHD could never. I have to, because I'm always working on a current case and I need to know what's happening on the current case. And then I have to listen to other cases that I might do. I mean, I'm literally usually juggling 3 to 5 cases at the same time during the week. We prepare many cases that never even come out to you guys. That's how much work we put into this. I just want you to know. I don't know how. I don't know how we get it done, but we do. And I'm glad to hear that FloJo TV says that makes 3 of us, because there's not enough hours in the day otherwise.
Broadcast that information to other family members. You can't talk to everybody, but there should be one point of contact that they do. Suggests a lack of experience on their part. To me, I don't know for sure because I'm not there, but that's kind of what it looks like here, from this seat.
We also learn that another teen goes missing from the same group home.
During the investigation of Emily Pike's disappearance from a group home in Mesa, Arizona, it is revealed that another teen has been missing from the same group home since May of last year.
I want you to realize this, bruv. If you came in here late, you go back about halfway through. I did a little 2-3 minute segment on the 17-year-old girl that was never found. And bruv, 30 other children have been reported missing from the Sacred Heart group home that Emily was ultimately the last place to be. I appreciate your hard work and dedication to the channel, my favorite channel. Well, thank you. Ellie Kelly says, it's like you have to drink my favorite Red Bull knowing that's my favorite. Oh, man. Let's continue.
Mesa PD says the group home notified them when 17-year-old Veronica Cruz went missing from the home on May 18, 2024, and has been missing ever since. They don't know who she's with or where she is, and points out that Cruz will be 18 next month. Mesa PD says that's not good enough because she is under 18. They need to physically verify that Cruz is safe and under the care of a guardian before changing her status.
Oh, but they're not doing
back out to John Bueller. John, I'm just trying to advance the case, advance the investigation. Finger pointing and recriminations will not advance the investigation. We do know that there is a 200.
You guys, Veronica Cruz is her name. Okay, they didn't even say it. I showed it earlier. Veronica Cruz went missing at 17 from the same group home as Emily Pike. And 30 other children have gone missing, okay, from that same facility. Of course, caffeine is a must. Rhonda, welcome to the crime crew. Found you Friday and I'm hooked. Well, that's good to hear. Thank you. I do appreciate that you guys enjoy the work that we put into these cases. All right, let's continue.
$1,000 reward, $200,000 on the table for information leading to the whereabouts of the perp who murdered and dismembered this little girl. I mean, John Bueller, shouldn't that jog somebody's memory, for Pete's sake? That's nearly $250,000.
Well, you'd think it would, especially if 2 people were involved. One's going to probably turn up.
No, she definitely made it home. They took her right back to that facility. That facility made sure they called 911 to bring that money back. But that was the last time we get to see her alive on that video. All right. Grits and Grace 35. How do you retain the info? I'd be so confused, especially now. I'd have Nancy abducted by aliens in Iran. Thank you for the hard work and just bringing us up. Tomorrow's episode, Nancy Grace gets abducted by aliens in Iran. I mean, Iraq. I mean, Mexico. I mean, just kidding. All right, Grits and Grace. So I'll make sure that if you ever email me and ask for help, if you want to help with the case, I'll say, I'm not into aliens. No, thank you. Back to our show.
On the other for that amount of money. Also, if you've got family members or friends of the perpetrator, if they see he's missing, or if maybe he has unaccounted for time, or something's going on with his life that they think is strange and might be linked to this, those are the people that need to call in and give the locals help on this thing, because they can't do it alone. There's only so much the physical evidence can do for you. There's only so much the circumstantial evidence can do for you in a case like this. They do need some help from somebody. Now, they also may have more information than they're letting out, and they're keeping that close to the vest. And I get that, and that's definitely something that they want to do. But the mere fact that the trash bag information was released and where the body was and the condition it was in, those are not good things to release, because those are things that you want to keep close in the investigation to verify information when you're interviewing a suspect.
John Bueller, I only pray that you are...
Bueller? You keep saying Bueller? Infinity Mel. Welcome to the crime crew. I don't know if I've seen you here before, but I'll assume you've been here. Thanks for the love of the channel. I appreciate you. Yeah, it's always someone else's fault, right? All right, let's continue. Oh, my dog's so mad. Let me open the door.
That the local authorities know more than they are letting on. If you know or think you know anything about the disappearance of little Emily Pike, please call the local sheriffs, 928-200-2352. Repeat, 928-200-2352, or 505-917-7830. 505-917-7830. There's a nearly $250,000 reward for information regarding Emily Pike.
And that's always nice to see that there's a big reward like that for a case like this. Again, I believe that Emily Pike is the light in the darkness right now. It's like she's holding the torch and leading the way for these other missing children and indigenous women, men, people, etc. She's actually making change. You know, there's already the Emily's Law, which is the turquoise alert, which we just saw last week, used in another case. And she's opening our eyes to the situation at the group home. Remember, they're suing the group home, etc. Yeah, Wes said, feed me, Seymour, feed me, or I'm going to eat you. I'm going to eat your toes off. Feed me, Seymour. Goes to who? What? Where? All right, dark scales. What do we say? Because the prior president. Oh, okay. All right. We want to talk. Yeah, Wes was mad. I fed him. Yes, Ellie Kelly, justice for Emily. She is continuing to fight for herself and others.
Killer. We remember an American hero, Tech Sergeant Tyler Simmons, U.S. Air Force.
All right, that's the end of this. Remember him. I like that she does that. Now I'm going to share this with you real quick to cleanse the palate. First of all, just remember justice for Emily Pike, and not just for Emily Pike. She's opening the door and guiding the people, she's being a guiding light for her community and indigenous people that are going missing, trafficked, etc. Things are changing because of her case, but we don't know who did this to her. We don't have a named suspect. There is a person of interest, but they're not telling us who. Okay, so say a prayer. Now you know what the hand represents. If you don't go back to the beginning, there is her memorial. This is the last place Emily was seen. She was 14. All right. And then I am going to pull all this down, cleanse the palate, and we're going to talk about Crime Con 2026. All right. So here it goes. This is a beautiful picture, by the way. I'm probably going to have to. Oh, there it goes. All right. There it is, guys. I dropped the link earlier, but we will formally do so as well. All right. Let's cleanse the palate real quick. Crime Con 2026, guys. All right. CrimeCon is May 29th through the 31st in Las Vegas. Now, Patricia NY in chat is throwing a party. The party's at the Bellagio for the Guilty of Crime crew. That includes you guys that are on the channel. So, like I shared earlier, we'll share on Ghost, and we'll share and we'll share and we'll share until we go. It's not even letting me do that anymore. Oh, it did. All right, well, let me get the other one. Hold on. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? It's not going to be like Hangover. What are you talking about, girl? That's you. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. Okay, hold on. They won't let me. Here's the link for the party. So you guys, I'll keep reminding you, but CrimeCon 2026, Las Vegas, Bellagio on a Saturday, May 30th. You got to RSVP by May 8th, 6:30 until whenever, food, drinks, etc. They're all on Patricia in Patricia NY. She's throwing us the party, CrimeCon 2026. All right. We're driving. We're going to drive out there. I know a lot of people might be flying. I'm only an 8-hour drive in the motorhome. So we're going to take the RV and cruise on out there and hit Vegas up. All right. So that being said, let's see. Dark Scale said, because of this case, the tribe here has been a lot more stick with the kids, strict. They can't be away from any adults. Well, that is so good to hear, Dark Scales. I'm so grateful that Emily Pike is making a difference. Her name is pushing change and laws. That's what we're here for. All right. Palate cleanser. It's fairly cheap to fly from. Yeah, Las Vegas, man. That's the spot. It should be pretty cheap to get there, I would think. All right, guys, that will be there. I don't know yet. They haven't told me if I'm going to have a booth or not, or a table. I'm a new creator, and it goes on how many views, etc. So they'll let me know if I'm accepted. I won't know until like the month before, but we're still gonna go. All right, most is 6 hours change of driving. Yep, ours is 8 in the motorhome. All right, guys. Kel, yeah, I wish you could go too. I wish everybody can go. And if you guys want to support the CrimeCon 2026 trip, I got the buy me a coffee at Guilty of Crime. If you donate to that, it's just going to stay there until we go to Vegas. All right, to pay for whatever we're doing. So I appreciate anybody that's supporting that. When you do super chats and super stickers, they're always great, except YouTube takes 30%. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying. So that's that. All right. Clementine says, I would go, but y'all can't handle my crazy. Clementine, I'm not even going to, you haven't met me yet. All right. You don't know. You can't say until you meet me in person. You have no idea. All right. You'll be there in spirit. Yeah. Clementine, you're good. Come on. You gotta have a wheelchair. Yeah, I'm sure they do. Jake can handle Foxy, or me. She can handle. Yeah. I've got it covered. All right. It's a good question. Shouldn't that be allowed? That is a good question. That shouldn't be allowed. What question did we miss? Why on the earth would an Indigenous child be put in a Catholic group home? ? Well, money. I told you earlier that group home is very, very shady. Due to it being very shady, I believe there's money exchanges and they get a certain amount. It's a for-profit group home. So the more money that comes in, it comes in based on per person. So not because they care that an indigenous child that got raped is going to go into a Catholic group home where 30 other children were missing and one never found. What about that? Should we add that into the statement as well? All right. Vegas, baby. Quiz been canceled. Class is dismissed. All right, guys. I love you all. Ali Callie says Las Vegas is 4 hours from my casa. So I guess you're coming. All right, guys. Have a wonderful night. We've been here for almost 3 dang hours. I didn't think I was going to be here that long, but I appreciate you guys, and have a wonderful night. Thank you. Oh, girl, don't even get me started. I am Two Bear. When I signed baby Guilty up when she was younger, I signed her up for daycare. And by the time she had already been there for quite some time, I realized it was a Bible thumping daycare. But baby Guilty liked it. That was all that matters. But yes, I would have to agree with you on that. Nonprofit means a whole shitload of profit that they're hiding. That's what I'm going to tell you on my way out. Love you guys. Have a wonderful night. Thanks for being here, buddy. Wyatt, good to see you. Welcome to the reservation. Bree, thank you. Midnight Lace, good night. And everybody else, have a wonderful night. See you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Love you all. Bye.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty of crime?